Good afternoon, welcome to Emirates Old Trafford for this latest game in the Vitality Blast group. Lancashire Lightning against the Nottinghamshire Outlaws. Yes, the reigning champions are in town, so there's a little bit extra on the game today because Notts are the side that ended Lancashire's hopes in the T20 Blast at the semi-final stage last season. And they are in excellent form again. 3 straight wins, the Notts Outlaws, coming to Emirates Old Trafford to face a Lancashire Lightning side that has won both its games here so far. A little bit mixed on the road in recent times, but 100% record at Emirates Old Trafford this season in the T20 Blast for the Lancashire Lightning. So let's hope that that run continues against the reigning champions today. Lots else to talk about, not just the cricket here at Emirates Old Trafford today. It is the end of Men's Health Week. So we are marking Men's Health Awareness Day here at the ground this afternoon, reminding men that it's incredibly important to take care of your health, and perhaps this being Father's Day is as good a day to remind us of that as any. Happy Father's Day to any of you out there marking that occasion today. I hope you had a little bit more of a relaxing day than I did. Yeah, there was a bit of pampering in the morning, but it didn't extend beyond 9 o'clock, so perhaps make up for that a little bit later on. But if you're following the cricket today, if that's your Father's Day treat, then welcome along to our coverage from Emirates Old Trafford. As always, we are supporting charities to mark the occasion. As always, the Lancashire Cricket Foundation is upmost in our thoughts. But so too today, a couple of charities that are very close to our heart. The Barry Kilby Prostate Cancer Appeal, and a charity set up in the name of one of our most favourite, not just cricketers, but also cricket broadcasters, Bob Willis, who we sadly lost just over a year ago, 2 Decembers ago, and I'm delighted to say that his wife, Lauren Clark, is amongst our guests today. Lauren, welcome to Emirates Old Trafford. Thanks for coming down to see us, and thank you for telling us a little bit about the Bob Willis Fund.
Yeah, so Bob obviously died of prostate cancer in December 2019, 18 months ago, and immediately we started trying to help Prostate Cancer UK with awareness. I mean, I think he was a famous name, and you know, prostate cancer is a really, really serious disease. It's the #1 cancer diagnosed in the UK these days, and one man's diagnosed every 45 minutes. And I just think people don't really take it that seriously. They don't know what a prostate is or what it can do, and it needs, you know, you need to get tested and sorry.
It's awareness, isn't it? Men are so reluctant to take their health seriously, and I know myself, the idea of going to the doctor, it just, do you know what, it'll be okay. I'll feel all right. I'll feel better in a couple of days' time.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why today to be putting on this PSA testing through the Barry Kilby Prostate Cancer Awareness charity, because it gives men the opportunity to go and get tested and make sure that they're okay in a more comfortable environment. You know, come and get tested and then watch some cricket. So that seems quite appealing to me, more appealing than going to the doctor.
Bob was loved during his playing career, and then more latterly during his broadcasting career, one of the voices of cricket on Sky Sports. Tell us what you're hoping to achieve with the fund that's been set up in his memory.
Well, I mean, yes, obviously he had, I consider that he's had 3 parts to his life now. He had his growing up and becoming an international cricketer. He then was a, you know, pretty acerbic and famous broadcaster, and now we want him to have a legacy to try and save other men's lives through raising awareness of prostate cancer, so that, you know, their families don't have to go through what I'm going through at the moment.
We're going to be hearing from his great friend Paul Allott, who's Director of Cricket here, very shortly. So Lancashire obviously embracing the Bob Willis Fund, but it doesn't start and end here today at Emirates Old Trafford, because you've got big plans further down the line, not least on the 13th of July, the ODI between England and Pakistan. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm very, very grateful to Edgbaston and to the ECB for giving us this one-day international against Pakistan. And it's going to be called Blue for Bob Day, and we're trying to raise money and awareness for prostate cancer research, Prostate Cancer UK. And yeah, we're just hoping it'll be a really great day. Hope we get some crowd, and Sky and the BBC are right behind us, and it will be all over the TV all day. Bob this, Bob that, Bob bowling masterclass. It's 8 days before the 40th anniversary of his famous 8 for 43 at Headingley.
Hang on a second, because that's going to age quite a few people. The 40th anniversary of that quite scintillating performance that transformed the Test match, the Ashes Test match at Headingley in 1981. And you've got something special up your sleeve for that, because his bowling style and the highlights of that game must be the most reviewed highlights in the history of Test cricket. And Bob's distinctive bowling action that we all know so well from the highlights, whether you were alive then or not, there's a chance to recapture that.
Yeah, I mean, so many people have said to us that when they were, you know, say they were about 50 years old now, when they were kids, they used to imitate his action in the garden. And so we're asking mums, dads, kids to practice their bowl like Bob impression and record it on their phones and put it on social media, and we'll be able to pick it up if it's linked to the app Bob Willis Fund. And then the best ones are going to be shown in a bowling masterclass of Bob's bowling action on Sky Sports Cricket on the 13th of July.
Yeah, I know our very own Jimmy Anderson has already had a go at it. What about yourself? What's your own Bob Willis impression like when it comes
it just involves, it's quite a long run up and you have to go do that behind your back basically, and that's pretty much it. Go all over the place and then smash the stumps.
Well, there you go. Lauren's got her own as well. Maybe that's one that you can catch up with, and will be the barometer by which we will all judge ourselves. I'll be sure to have a go, and maybe any kids who've been playing cricket this morning can have a go at it and get it posted on social media, and maybe they'll see themselves on Sky Sports.
That'd be fantastic.
Well, look, Lauren, thank you so much for coming to visit us today. All the best with the Bob Willis Fund and with those plans you've got further down the road.
Brilliant, and thanks to Lancashire and to Paul Allett for putting this on.
Hope you get to experience a Lancashire win last year here.
Thanks.
And Lauren, thanks ever so much. And as Lauren's just mentioned, the Lancashire Director of Cricket, Paul Allett, a great friend, one of Bob's very best of friends, and he will be talking a little bit about him because I spoke to Paul a short time ago. Well, ahead of today's game against Nottinghamshire Outlaws, an opportunity to chat with the Lancashire Director of Cricket, Paul Allett. Paul, let's talk T20 Blast to start with. 6 games in, 7 points on the board in the North Group. How are you assessing things from a Lancashire point of view so far?
Well, could be better, could be worse, couldn't it, really? Very happy with the 2 games that we won here at Emirates Old Trafford, the first 2 games of the programme. A little bit mixed since then, and a win this afternoon would be great.
Nice to be, having won the first 2 here, and then that mixed form on the road. Nice to be back at Emirates Old Trafford today. Always
good to play here, yeah. We know the ground, we know the pitch. I think it'll be a used pitch today, which is no great problem for us. We're used to that. And there'll be a crowd in, of course. Not as big a crowd as we'd have liked, but that's just the way it is at the moment. So we like the familiar surroundings and circumstances of Emirates Old Trafford.
And always frustrating, as it was at Birmingham on Friday, to know there's no chance of getting a game on. It's rained off without a ball being bowled, but we've got a bit more reliable weather today.
We've been blessed in the northwest, haven't we, in the last 3 or 4 days when it's been pouring with rain everywhere else in London and the southeast. So, yeah, it's good that the northwest gets a bit of a dry spell for a change. So, yeah, I think the forecast's good. There's a bit of drizzle around this morning, but we're fine now.
We've been marking Men's Health Week this week. It's Men's Health Awareness Day here at Emirates Old Trafford, and supporting a charity that's particularly close to you. In fact, you're wearing the badge that represents it. Tell us a little bit about the Bob Willis Fund.
Well, the Bob Willis Fund is obviously set up in Bob's memory, primarily to assist in prostate cancer awareness amongst men and research as well. And it will be attempting to raise funds on prostate cancer's behalf. I think basically the key with most cancers, in fact all cancers, is early diagnosis, and prostate cancer is notoriously bad at being diagnosed early. I don't know whether that's a men's problem in itself, because men are fairly reluctant to go to the doctors. So we're offering PCR tests today here at Old Trafford, which is a finger prick blood test. In conjunction with the Barry Kilby Foundation. Barry was chairman of Burnley Football Club, and he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, thankfully cleared now. Bob wasn't so lucky. So it's all about awareness and early diagnosis.
how big a role can sport play in encouraging men to take their health seriously, and especially when it's in the name of someone who had such great popularity like Bob Willis did?
Well, I think men are notoriously bad at going to doctors about personal problems and health issues, but they're quite happy to come to sports grounds and sports stadiums. And if we can try and link the two and say, when you're coming to the sport, let's assess or allow you to assess your health, maybe that just takes the edge off a little bit. And I think it's quite an event to have on Father's Day here today. Bob was a father and a grandfather, and it's a special day all round. So in Bob's memory, let's hope that men become a little bit more aware of their own health over time.
Well, Paul, thanks for coming down to chat with us. All the best with today, and fingers crossed for a Lancashire win as well.
Thanks very much. I hope so.
Off you go.
Tails, please.
Both, but away team first, please. Thank you.
Well, welcome to Emirates Old Trafford, everybody, for this afternoon's game between Lancashire Lightning and the Nottinghamshire Outlaws. And the visitors have just won the toss. Stephen Mulaney, good to see you. You've won the toss. What's your decision?
We're going to have a bat first.
What's the thinking behind that?
Obviously, it's the third game on the pitch. We've won a few games batting first, so hopefully we can post a decent total and put Lancashire under some pressure.
You modestly say you've won a few games batting first. It's 3 on the spin. Do you feel like you're in good form?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a tournament where hopefully you get on a bit of a roll and find a formula of winning, but it's not about peaking at this stage of the tournament. You've got to take it deep and hopefully get out of the group into that quarter-finals, and then anything can happen.
Yeah, you know about going the distance. There's a bit of pressure on you as defending champions, is there?
So people keep telling me, yeah. Look, we'll just go out and have a good time, and hopefully we can, as I said, put on a decent show for the crowd and get a decent total.
Okay, well, thanks for your time. All the best today. Cheers. Let's also have a quick chat with the Lancashire captain, Dane Willis. Hi there, Dane. Disappointed?
Yeah, not really. I mean, we obviously would have batted first on that, but I don't think it's a train smash. It's a good wicket, and we chased on the same wicket a week ago, and hopefully we can do that tonight.
Yeah, you've chased successfully at times. You've got a couple of wins from 2 games here at Emirates Old Trafford. Nice to be back home this afternoon.
Absolutely, it's a great place to play, and hopefully we can put on another good performance.
And after mixed results on the road and the washout at Birmingham, how nice is it to hopefully look out at reasonably clear skies and the prospect of a full game?
Yeah, it was going to be a bit hit and miss here with the rain, but thankfully it stayed away, and hopefully it stays away for the whole game, and we can get a good game, full 40 overs here.
I know the Lancashire fans have been looking forward to this one in particular. Notts, the reigning champions, beat you in the semi-final. Is there a little bit more on it for you and your team?
Yeah, I mean, we know Notts are a great side. They play very well in this format, and the games against us have always been interesting ones, and really looking forward to it, and hope you get a good crowd in and they get a good game.
You've been forced into at least 2 changes. I think you've made 1 more today. Tell us about your team.
Yeah, we've made 3 changes. Obviously, Joss and Livy have gone up to with the England squad. So we got Keaton and Rob Jones comes into the mix, and then we've got Luke Wells making his debut for Tom Bailey today.
Ben, thanks ever so much for your time. All the best. Fingers crossed for a Lancashire win. Good to see you. So that's the Lancashire captain, Dane Willis. Nottinghamshire Outlaws, though, have won the toss, and they will bat first this afternoon here at Emirates Old Trafford. Well, Alex, after the frustration in Birmingham on Friday of a washout, how relieved to see pretty clear skies by Manchester standards and a prospect for a full day's play today.
Yeah, it's always sunny in Manchester, we know that. We've had quite a few away games on the bounce now, so it's nice to get back here and get settled into Emirates Old Trafford, yeah.
Yeah, 2 wins from 2 at home, mixed fortunes on the road, so relieved to be back at Emirates Old Trafford?
Yeah, 2 disappointing days last week, obviously one with the rain, but then we weren't at our best against Durham either. We've identified a couple of areas that we can get better at there and adapt to conditions a little bit faster than we did. So hopefully now we're back on home soil, we've got a good record here, so we'll just try and do what we do best here.
It's all pretty tight, though, in the table in the North Group. 6 games played for yourselves, 1 or 2 have only played 5, but you're in a decent position.
Yeah, absolutely. It is tight, and I know it's quite cliche, and I probably say it every time, but momentum is key, and if we can get a win under our belt today and carry that momentum forward, the games come around thick and fast that if you get into the habit of winning, you can quite easily get on a roll. So today is important for us to bounce back from Durham and, hopefully grab some momentum.
What about your own form? A very handy 83 not outs in the game against Derbyshire. Still very fresh in the memory, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think I've been slightly more inconsistent than I'd like, and I pride myself on my consistency, but adapting to a slightly new role this year, batting at 3. So yeah, I'm still getting used to that, but with the lineup we've had, the batters feel like we can just go from ball one and play a positive brand of cricket, and fortunately the first 2 games didn't come off for me, but had a nice knock at Derby and got us over the line there. So yeah, as long as somebody puts their hand up and gets us over the line, it doesn't really matter who.
A couple of those potential match winners that you've got at the top of the order no longer with you. Liam Livingstone and Joss Buttler have gone off to join up with England. How does that change the dynamic within the team?
Obviously it changes it a little bit. The lads that are coming in, you know, it's quite tough to come in and just hit the ground running game one, so that puts more responsibility on the lads that have been playing. So the likes of myself, Finn and Dane, Crofty will look to step up and yeah, just take the responsibility on our shoulders. But the players that are coming in are top quality anyway. Keats scored a T20 100 last year, and I presume he's going to play today. So you know, the players that are coming in are high quality anyway.
And your opponents, Nottinghamshire, the reigning champions, and they've won their last 3. They're in good form.
Yeah, Notts are always a strong side. You know, it's a fixture that we always look for when the fixtures come out. As well as being a good side, we know quite a few of their players quite well as well, so it's always nice to play against them, and we've had some good games against them in the past, so hopefully there's one of them today.
Alex, thanks ever so much for your time today, and all the very best.
Thank you.
So Nottinghamshire Outlaws have won the toss and will bat first at Emirates Old Trafford this afternoon for this latest Vitality Blast game in the North Group. 2 teams with 7 points already, 2 teams very well placed for progression to the quarterfinals, but there is an awful lot still to play for in terms of qualification for the latter stages. So this could be a very important afternoon of T20 Blast cricket between Lancashire Lightning and the Nottinghamshire Outlaws. Let's give you the all-important team news, shall we? Starting with our visitors from Nottinghamshire, who have won their last 3. Their team today is Alex Hales, Joe Clark, Sol Bundiga, Ben Duckett, Tom Moores, Samit Patel, Stephen Mullaney, Calvin Harrison, Luke Fletcher, Matt Clark and Jake Ball. Now your all-important Lancashire Lightning team today. This is the side that will be lining up to face the Nottinghamshire Outlaws here at Emirates Old Trafford. And at the top of the order, Keaton Jennings. Finn Allen. Alex Davis. Dane Villas. Stephen Croft. Rob Jones. Luke Wells. Luke Wood. Danny Lamb. Tom Hartley. Matt Parkinson. Well, there you go. That's the Lancashire Lightning team that is lining up against the Nottinghamshire Outlaws here at Emirates Old Trafford in the Vitality Blast this afternoon. Let's speak to the former Lancashire wicket-keeper Warren Hegg, who knows a little bit about the pressure of playing here on what is, Warren, this is a big occasion. They're the reigning champions.
Big occasion, Steve. Notts. When you come against Notts Outlaws, you know you're always in for a game. Just look at the team they've got now. It's got full of experience. It's full of explosive batters up top. You look at Joe Clark. Joe Clark for me is the one to watch. Really under the radar, but I think he'll have a big say in this game.
What was the 130 odd off 60 odd pulls the other day, wasn't it?
Unbelievable striker in this format of the game. And when you've got someone in the team that can do that, let's not forget as well, Steve, that who's in charge of them. Moores is in charge. He knows this ground like the back of his hand. He knows the wicket. He knows our players. He knows the crowd. He knows the atmosphere. So they're going to have a lot of experience in the backroom stuff as well.
And after beating us in the semi-finals last season on their way to the title, we owe them one, don't we?
We definitely do. You know what? And we spoke to a lot of people off air, and 2020 cricket, anything can happen, Steve. Anyone can turn up. They can have a day out. They can have a great 100. They bowl a really economical spell of bowling. They take a brilliant catch in the field. So who can read 2020 cricket at the moment?
Plenty of time to chat to you, Warren, this afternoon, but just quickly the line-up, because there are significant absentees on England duty.
Yeah, we're missing Butler, we're missing Livingston. That changes the whole dynamics of our team. But you know what? We've got enough there to be able to cover those guys. Alex Davies now coming onto some form. We saw in the last couple of games he's starting to hit his straps a bit. When you lose Livingston, when you lose Butler, you lose a lot of experience, you lose a lot of explosive power. But Rob Jones is coming into the fore now. We've got Keaton Jennings, who, let's remember, scored a T20 100 last year. So yeah, I'm still very confident with our top order.
Stay with us, Warren. Plenty of opportunity to speak to the
I'm
former
Lauren
Lancashire
Clark.
wicketkeeper,
I'm
Warren Hegg.
the wife of Bob Willis, who died in December 2019.
It really was a difficult delivery. He's gone. Very good piece of bowling from Bob Willis.
He had enormous big hair and had an iconic action that sort of went all over the place. Somehow he managed to bowl it straight at the end. Yes, he loved being a pantomime villain, and he spent quite a lot of time coming up with some classic lines.
Standing up, he looks like a performing seal at feeding time, flapping away there.
We've got loads and loads of stories about people who were terrified of meeting him, and when you met him, he was the most lovely, gentle man. Bob was diagnosed with prostate cancer in April 2016. 1 in 8 men get prostate cancer. 1 in 4 black men get prostate cancer. It's a very, very big problem. We need more money to do research to get a better test. It's important to have new treatments coming up all the time as well. A cricketer and a gentleman, you know, he was a gentleman, he wasn't that character that you saw on TV, really.
I want Bob to have a legacy to try and help save men's lives. So we are proud to announce the launch of the Bob Willis Fund. We are kicking off our campaign at the England versus Pakistan One-Day International on Tuesday the 13th of July. Edgbaston will be turning blue for Bob to celebrate his life and raise money and awareness for better research into prostate cancer. Your support would be hugely appreciated, so please follow, share and donate to help us fight this cruel disease. Thank you.
Here at Emirates Old Trafford between Lancashire Lightning and the Nottinghamshire Outlaws. I think, Warren Hegg, one of the games that in the North Group a lot of people have got an eye on in terms of a barometer as to which way this tournament might go this season.
Definitely so. You know, you're talking about Notts, historically a really, really strong T20 white ball side. Lancashire Cricket, the Lightning here, we're flying in this competition. We've been historically very, very successful. Lots and lots of final days, lots of experience in our team from the top order right the way through the middle order. Great captain in Dane Villa. So yeah, I think not only the Lancashire fans will be looking at this game, but I think the whole country will be looking at this game.
We spoke a little bit a short time ago about the Lancashire team. Let's drill into that a little bit more. Anyone who was here or followed our coverage of the games against Derbyshire and Leicestershire would have looked at the top of the Lancashire order and thought, well, any one of 4 scores runs and we stand a good chance of winning the game. It's a little bit different today with Liam Livingstone and Jos Buttler linking up with England ahead of those T20s against Sri Lanka. So who needs to take on some responsibility for Lancs today?
Well, we lose Livingston, we lose Butler. You know, we bring in Keaton Jennings. Keaton Jennings has got bags and bags of experience at this level against the white ball. So, you know, not much to worry about there. Rob Jones coming in, Luke Wells making his Lancashire T20 debut. It's a whole new dynamic to our team. But you know what? It opens opportunities for these players to get out there, put the name in the shop window to the coach and to the manager and say, when we have got a full team, I really want to be part of that. Lots of experience there, and they'll be itching to put a performance on there today. What have you made of the form Lancashire's performances in the T20 so far this season? 6 games played, if you include the washout at Birmingham on Friday. On the road, just 1 win from the 2 games completed out of 3, but back-to-back wins here. Do you think Dane and the team will be satisfied with where they are at the moment? Not really, no. I think the way they started, we saw those 2 back-to-back games here where we dominated. We were really strong up top with the bat. We fielded magnificently. Our bowling unit worked as a unit together and strangled teams really into not winning games. But like you say, there may be a bit of a concern on the road. Those 2 defeats and the performances we put in would be a slight concern, I would say, to the Lancashire backroom staff. But we mentioned before, 2020 cricket can turn in an instant. A performance from a bowler, a dynamic 100 from a batsman, and we're back on the right track again. Well, look, take us into the mindset in the dressing room, Warren. You've been there. You've been part of a successful one-day Lancashire side. When the run hasn't been quite what you would have hoped, you've had a washout, you're a bit frustrated, you get home. How are you galvanising yourselves in there today? Well, what the Glenn Chappell head coach will be saying, he said, when you're playing at Emirates Old Trafford, when you're playing in front of the Lancashire fans, it is your 12th man. The atmosphere here is great, the music's blaring, the crowd are right behind you, so that will give the players a lift. They want to come to their home ground and put a performance on. They'll be itching now to get back on that winning streak that we keep talking about and put a really, really strong Notts team, hopefully, to the sword today, and we've lost the toss. We're going to bowl first. The wicket looks an absolute belter. They'll come out all guns blazing. Don't get me wrong on that one. We're going to be in a real tough game here. Yeah, Notts they seem to be putting it together, so it's a really serious test of Lancashire's credentials, but hopefully one that we can enjoy together. How confident are you of a Lancs win? Playing at home, I am confident, and I have to say I back our boys against anyone here at Emirates Old Trafford. But you've got to keep an eye on this team that they've got. They've got bags of experience, they've got bags of dynamic batters that we're talking about. But you know what, so have we. We're a good team as well. So I would say, yeah, let's get out there. We play to our 100% to our ability. We win the game. They're on the back of a win in the derby against Derbyshire on Friday night. They've had some tight games. They've had but they've had some big scoring wins as well along the way already this season. So there's a huge amount of expertise in that side, isn't there? Well, absolutely. You look at the top of their innings. You look at Hales, who's had all the experience he's got for the 3 Lions of England. He's smashed world-class attacks all over the park. They've got your Samit Patel. You've got your Young Moores, the wicket-keeper. A very, very good team. But man to man, so have we. And that's what Glenn and his backroom team will be pressing on. Man to man, go out there and beat them. Warren, thanks for your time. For now, we'll speak more to Warren Hegg in the break between innings a little bit later on. So, live action coming up here at Emirates Old Trafford, Lancashire Lightning against the Nottinghamshire Outlaws. If you're following it with us on the stream, wherever you are around the world, thanks for your company today. We are going to hand you over to the company of our commentary team this afternoon, led by our cricket reporter, Scott Reed.
Thank you, Steve. I've got to say, some very snazzy shoes you've got on today. They're an absolute pearlers of them, little purple numbers. Thank you, Steve. More from Steve and Warren during the course of the interval. A very warm welcome to the commentary box, where we've got some dry conditions. Myself, Scott Reed, Dave Bracegirdle from BBC Radio Nottingham alongside me as well. Should be a good game, Dave. Very much so, yes. Good afternoon, Scott. Good afternoon, everybody. Did hear somebody say on TV on Friday evening this is going to be a good sporting weekend for Scots everywhere. Oh, lovely. Notts against Lancashire, Lancashire against Notts. It's a clash between 2 sides that have pretty much dominated the North Group in recent years. Obviously, they both got through to finals day last year. Notts came out on top in that one. It was a filthy wet weekend, and pretty much our game was decided really in 1 over, wasn't it, where Dan Christian got on the right end of Liam Livingstone, and Notts went through to the final. But they've always been fairly close games. Notts haven't got the best of records here over the course of the
T20 campaign, although in recent years they've not done too bad, although they did lose the last time here a couple of years ago. I think last year, around about this time, or this stage of the group certainly, we sat and watched it rain all day at Liverpool, didn't we? So
we did.
Looking forward to getting some cricket on.
Yeah, the conditions are dry. The forecast is much improved. It was a little iffy coming into the fixture. I was down at Edgbaston on Friday for that complete washout. Didn't get a single ball bowled on Friday evening at Edgbaston for the Bears Lightning game, and the forecast for today looked a bit dodgy, but it's improved massively. So it looks like we're set for a good few hours of some live cricket. Notts Outlaws. Heard plenty about Lancashire Lightning and how they've started the campaign, which I think has been a little hit and miss. I mean, 2 defeats from 6. They've won 3. I'm not so sure about their own admission. They've played their absolute best T20 cricket. As for Notts, Dave, flying at the minute. 3 successive wins.
3 successive wins. Should have been 4. The first round of matches, the very first evening. They're absolutely walking it against Worcestershire, who just seem to have a little bit of a jinx against Notts at the moment. But they've got half the side left. They wanted 12 from the last 2 overs. 2 good batsmen at the crease, and again they couldn't get over the line. It was a tie, so certainly a point drop there. But they've come back strongly. Won 3 in a row now. Last Sunday they made short work of Northants at Wantage Road with a splendid ton there from Joe Clark. Alex Hales got 96 not out on Tuesday to win at Durham, and on Friday evening, as you said, we were well aware it was raining everywhere. We just couldn't understand why it had stopped raining at Trent Bridge, and they were starting to peel off the covers. But we're glad we got the game in, because generally Notts have had the better of things against Derbyshire in recent times. In fact, that's 9 straight wins now against Derbyshire, so you can understand why Notts wanted to play against the Falcons. So 3 straight wins put them back into the top 4, and it's all pointing to both sides going into this one with a little bit of confidence.
Yeah, it's pretty tight there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Notts Outlaws 4th, 7 points. Lancashire Lightning 5th, 7 points. So potentially, I know we've still got a decent way to go in the group campaign, but the winner of this fixture could be a key win.
Both will qualify, Scott. There we are.
You put it out there nice and early.
I'll get off the wall. Both will qualify, along with Birmingham, and the rest can scrap over it. Team news: Notts unchanged. There might be 1 or 2 names there that you're not too familiar with, or home supporters or viewers might not be too familiar with. Sol Budinger, it's pronounced as in ginger rather than bell ringer. Budinger will come in at number 3. Exciting young prospect, 21 years of age, played a little bit of minor counties cricket for Norfolk, hails from Colchester. Dynamic stuff at the top of the order. Every ball he will try and hit to the football ground. He scored a century off 30 balls for the Seconds in midweek last week, which got him his chance against Derbyshire the other night, and it was a very brief innings. First ball for 4, hit 1 up in the air that was dropped, 1 up in the air that dropped over a fielder, and then 1 straight up in the air that the keeper caught. So he's that sort of player, dynamic player to follow Hales and Clark at the top of the order. The other one you might not be too familiar with. It'll be interesting to see probably the best leg spinner in the country in Matt Parkinson against the newest, Calvin Harrison. Oxford University impressed Notts in a pre-season game, took him on trial, continued to impress, and has now played a handful of blast games this year. Not a massive turner of the ball, but puts it up there, gives it a little bit of air. Will be a good player, I'm sure, over the years, but it'll be a good comparison this evening. Notts won the toss and are batting, so Harrison, it's not going to make a great deal of difference. Is it 20 overs on a flat deck here? It's not going to rag it square later on, but it'll be just interesting to see how he goes. And of course, other spin options for Notts later on: Matt Carter, who you will have seen, the big tall off spinner, and Samit Patel. What a night he had on Friday night, 64 not out, rolling back the years, and then his 250th wicket in T20 cricket. He's the first Englishman to reach that landmark, having also scored 5,000 runs. There's only 6 players in world cricket done it: 3 West Indians, Shakib Al Hassan, Dan Christian, and now Samit Patel. So he's in a very exclusive little club there. And 1 or 2 are starting to just write him off after 1 or 2 indifferent performances at the start of the group for Samit. Absolute man of the match by a country mile on Friday evening, so write him off at your peril.
He's a fabulous player, isn't he? Yeah, looking forward to watching him both with the ball and with the bat throughout the course of the afternoon. Crowds are in. Restricted numbers again, obviously. That's just the way it is at the minute, but good to see on Sunday afternoon, plenty of young kids in the ground as well, with their Lancashire Lightning shirts on, and 1 or 2 cold beverages being enjoyed by the parents, and why not? It's kind of come part and parcel, don't they?
And it wouldn't be a trip to Lancashire or to Old Trafford without me saying, there's another new building.
There is, to the right of the hotel. There's
as we look, yes, the Academy 92. I guess with the 92 and my sort of football background, I guess it's something to do with the other lot over the road, is it?
It is, yeah. It's all part of the Neville, Giggs, Scholes. I don't know who's involved in it. It's all part of their empire,
isn't it? It's their university, is it? That's where their young ones are going to go.
I presume so, yeah, I presume so. We're 3 minutes away from the scheduled start of play, aren't we? Not too far.
I'll interrupt you because I'm 3 minutes away from updating Radio Nottingham. So I'll love you and leave you for now as the umpires come out, and I'll be back with you shortly.
Cheers, Dave. Yeah, the umpires are on the way. Sunglasses on. Jacket zipped up. It's quite a mild afternoon, really, but plenty of spectators in shorts and T-shirts, and the crowd looked quite brightly coloured, which is always I think a reflection on the temperatures. You tend to see slightly darker shades of jackets and jumpers on cold days. Here come the opening batsmen. These two are fabulous players. That's Hales and Clark for the Notts Outlaws. The taller Alex Hales there leading just a few paces in front of Joe Clark. But these two have had a wonderful start to the T20 blast with the bat. And here come Lancashire Lightning. 3 changes made by Lancashire Lightning for this one, as the players make their way out. There's no Joss Butler and there's no Liam Livingston, so they're both with England now. And I noticed that Liam's actually been called up to the one-day international squad, so Liam looks set to have an extended spell away from Lancashire Lightning. There's a familiar sight of a Lancashire supporter who travels home and away. That's Mike with his Roses hat on and his scorecard in front of him, ready to keep across the goings on today. So yeah, Livingston and Butler out the team, and Tom Bailey also drops out as well. So there's a T20 debut for Luke Wells, and Rob Jones comes back into the Lancashire team. Nice to see Rob back in the Lancashire side, and Keaton Jennings, the other player, coming in. So the 3 changes: Livingston, Butler and Bailey out, and Jennings, Jones and Wells in for Lancashire Lightning. Tom Hartley, the tall left-arm spinner, will open up the bowling from the James Anderson end. He's got Joe Clark on strike. And as we look from this media centre, our commentary position here, pitch to the left of the centre of the square, so there's a slightly shorter boundary to one side, hitting out towards the temporary stand. But here we go, first ball of this T20 blast fixture. Hartley left arm around the wicket to Joe Clark. And that's eased away through the onside for a single for the Notts Outlaws. 210 runs coming into this fixture for Clark. An highest score of 136 and an average of 42 and a strike rate of over 200. Blimey. And Alex Hales, 141 runs, top score of 96 not out. Strike rate of 163 for Hales, who's on strike. Keeper crouching down. That's Dane Villas with the gloves on today for Lancashire. And Hales content just to clip it away through mid-wicket for a single. Up comes Alex Davis from that deep mid-wicket boundary to field. So 2 without loss with 2 balls into this fixture. But Lancashire Lightning in the field. Notts Outlaws skippered by Stephen Mullaney, a familiar face to Lancashire supporters, winning the toss and wanting to have a bat first. There's Clark drilling the ball through and mid-on for a single. He moves up to 2. The score moves on to 3 without loss. We're halfway into the first over of the game. The field is outside the circle for this, as Hales is on striker, long on the deep mid-wicket. This is down on one knee by Hales, and that's out towards deep backward square leg for 4 runs. For Alex Hales, the first boundary of the game. Step to the leg side. Hartley followed him. And he swats the ball out towards that temporary stand at deep backward square leg. So 4 runs for Hales. He moves to 5. This is drilled down the ground for a single by Hales this time. Stephen Croft sweeping round in front of the point to field. Hales gets a single and takes his total up to 6. Brings Clark back on strike. He's on 2, and it's the final ball of the first over. Oh, it's right in between the legs of Alex Hales and Stephen Croft again. Scooping the ball up. And they've got through for 1, so the game's up and running. The first over done. 9 runs off it. Clark has 3. Hales unbeaten on 6. Live from Emirates Old Trafford, the T20 Blast fixture between Lancashire Lightning and the Notts Outlaws, 4th against 5th in the North Group. Both sides level on 7 points. Lancashire Lightning have played a game more than the Notts Outlaws, 3 wins from 5 for them. But it's tight at the top of the group. The Birmingham Bears have 9 points, and then Yorkshire Vikings and Durham and the Notts Outlaws and Lancashire Lightning all have 7 points. Other teams all congested together. We're going to see Stephen Croft's off spin from the Brian Statham end with Joe Clark on strike. It's on Thursday for Lancashire Lightning. Stephen Croft played his 200th career T20 games. A fabulous achievement from Croft, and he's going to have the chance to bowl here with his sunglasses on, bouncing in and bowling. And that's driven up to Keaton Jennings, who's at mid-off. Clark gets through for a single, so he moves up to 4, and the score ticks along to 10 without loss. Yes, it was a terrific achievement from Croft on Thursday to reach that landmark, 200 T20 games. His debut back in 2006. Still going strong. Bouncing his way in. It's a full toss. Hales meets it, sends it down the ground. It's cut off by Davis. Didn't have too much ground to work with, Davis. He was right by the boundary rope, but did ever so well to stop the ball. In the end, Hales restricted just to 1 run. So he moves up to 7. 11 without loss, and Croft is in again. That's high from Clark through the offside. Who's underneath it? Hartley running backwards. Takes a terrific catch. Fabulous catch from Hartley. Gets a little pat on the back from Keaton Jennings. But that went high for the bat of Joe Clark. And Tom Hartley running backwards. Eyes fixed firmly on the ball. And then plucks it from the sky. Terrific catch from Hartley. Clark's gone, and Notts Outlaws lose the first wicket halfway into the second over, 11 for 1.
Yeah, they'll go hard, throwing out the power play, and inevitably that approach will often bring casualties. And so it has done here. Joe Clark out cheaply for the 2nd match in a row. Tuesday a century, but since then a couple of low scores. In fact, it was last Sunday he got the century. It was Alex Hales who got 96 at Durham. Here is Sol Budinger, 21 years of age, out to join Hales. He'll give it a little bit of a dart, given the chance. Not going to be on strike because they did cross. So Alex Hales will be on strike for the next ball, but really important for Lancashire, as it will be for Notts later on, just to make the most of these power play overs and pick up whatever wickets they can.
Looking forward to watching Sol Budinger bat. Always good to see a new face. It's cut away by Hales and into the offside, but straight to point, and there is no run. 11 for 1, so 2 balls left of the first over. A wicket for Stephen Croft, and he's in again to Hales. He steps to the leg side, tries to work it through the onside. Ball actually just deflects, I think, off his pad down towards short third man. It does. A leg by signal from the umpire, so Hales remains on 7. Score moves on to 12 for 1. And here we go. See Sol Budinger scratching around, taking guard, and look out towards that leg side boundary, facing his first delivery, and Croft will come right arm round the wicket to him, and that's eased away through the offside. He's up and running straight away. Ball's picked up by Luke Wells at cover point, but a run for Budinger. So he's off the mark. He's up to 1. Alex Hales on 7. We've had 2 overs. Notts Outlaws 13 for 1.
Yeah, 2 overs of spin. I was just reflecting back a couple of years ago to that game in 2019. You may remember Luke Wood opened the bowling and picked up 2 wickets in the first over. Alex Davis and Stephen Croft. Lancashire were 2 for 2, and obviously that one particular over won't have influenced the Lancashire hierarchy in signing Luke Wood when he became available, but it won't have hurt, will it?
No.
Fond memories of this ground, and it is going to be the former Notts all-rounder to bowl the 3rd over from the pavilion end. Having a little bit of fun, the man on the tannoy with his finger on the button. A little bit of fun at Joe Clark's expense when he was dismissed.
Bit of bye-bye baby, wasn't it?
It was.
Oh dear.
Sending him on his way.
Yeah.
So obviously 2 fielders outside the circle. We've got one at deep square leg and one at 3rd man. Buddinger's on strike. Left arm over the wicket. Here comes Luke Wood running towards us. Bowles worked away on the leg side. Budinger will be looking for 2 here. He's making Alex Hales run. Good bit of fielding out there, and in comes the return. He's back for 2. The scorers. It's Chris Rimmer, isn't it?
It is.
The Lancashire scorer, and Anne Cosworth's doing it for Notts. We've got Roger Marshall on the scorecard, so I'm sure he's listening and will be scoring back at home in Nottingham. Roger, you didn't make it here today, and doing the notches for Notts, but you're on the scorecard, mate. Here's Luke Wood in and bowls, and this one's going up in the air, and there's an opportunity here. No, it's just going to fall between the keeper and down here Matt Parkinson. That was very similar to the way that Budinger was dismissed against Derbyshire on Friday evening, one that he top-edged straight up in the air and the keeper running back took the catch. He's quickly into his work. 5 from 3 for Budinger.
Yeah, looks busy, he does.
There will be a time or 2, hopefully in the not too distant future, when he does bat for a long time, and I think we'll enjoy it. It may be today, it may not be today. Wood bowls, and it's not. It's hit out on the offside, and he's got away with one there, falling between 2 fielders. A little bit of a charmed life for Budinger, but he's getting on with it. 6 from 4. He came into the side on Friday at the expense of Peter Trigo, who perhaps was a little unlucky because he's blasted a couple of quick-fire 30s for Notts. The now 40-year-old former Somerset man, but Trigo 12th man today.
Yeah, he's always quite good fun to watch, isn't he, Trigo?
Yeah. Ben Duckett is listed to come in next. Then Tom Moores, who of course had a little spell with Lancashire in 2016. Here's Wood in now to Hales, edge for 4. It was one that would have been gobbled up by first slip, but of course, by and large, captains don't opt to have a first slip in T20 cricket. And that one flew through there for Hales' 2nd boundary. He's not seen too much of the strike, actually, Alex Hales, but got a thick piece of the bat on that. Shot away quickly. He's on to 11 from 7. And Notts are up to 22 for 1 in the 3rd over.
Yeah, it's a powerful-looking top order, isn't it, for Notts? If I mean, it didn't happen for Joe Clark today, but there's every chance a Hales would get you, or a Duckett gets you, or a Moores to come in as well. It's some fabulous-looking players.
Well, most of those had a bit of a hiccup on Friday, and then Samet came in and hit 64 from 32. Next one's hit into the offside, and there's an opportunity for a run out here. If it had been a direct hit by Keaton Jennings, then Budinger would have gone. He'd come halfway down and had to go the same journey back, and just hope that the shy at the stumps would have missed, and it did. Is that Keaton Jennings, or is it the skipper?
Okay, Phil Haas has got the gloves on today.
Oh, he has, yeah.
Yeah, because Butler has been keeping wicket.
I think it's Keaton, isn't it?
I think Keaton's at mid-off.
22 for 1.
Tom Hartley was.
Fairly fast and frenetic cricket at the moment from the side in goal. Here's Wood into Hales. Bowles clipped away. There'll be just 1 here to conclude a decent over from Luke Wood. Might have brought him a wicket. Didn't on this occasion. 10 did come from it though, one way or another. 1 or 2 streaky shots. Notts are 23 for 1, having won the toss and opted to bat first.
And the defending champions as well, Notts Outlaws.
They're the defending champions, and I say this knowing full well it will probably rebound on me. They're also the side that's won the most matches in the domestic T20 competition since it started. 122 wins, Lancashire 121.
I was about to say, I think they've been neck and neck for a while, haven't they?
And they've flip-flopped. When Lancashire won the first 2 this year and Notts didn't win either of their games, it flip-flopped. But that'll be the only consolation I'll probably take from the end of the day if Lancashire win. Here's Croft.
From the Statham end, bowling a little flatter. It's cut away by Hales, beats the infield. That'll be 4. Sliced away by Alex Hales. The dive from Finn Allen inside the ring, just in front of point. As soon as it got through him, that was 4. Pretty short boundary out towards that temporary stand.
6 matches scheduled to have started at 2:30. The 4 in the North Group all underway. The 2 in the South Group. It's raining.
Hales comes down towards Croft and slaps him in between mid-off and extra cover down towards the boundary. Nice little touch from the photographer there, stopping the ball. And successive boundaries for Alex Hales. The score moves on to 31 for 1.
You have to be careful, don't they? And the crowd. There's often directives from the stewards: don't touch the ball, don't touch the ball. It has to be sanitised and what have you, sensibly, of course.
Hales on to 20 from 11. Looking to sweep this time and beats short fine leg, and the ball rattles its way down towards the boundary. Luke Wells is chasing after it as best he can. The ball's those long legs of Wells trying to catch up with it. In the end, he was just playing kind of ball boy. That's another 4, and that's 3 on the spin.
Yeah.
Looking shot on the sweep from Hales. So he's cut one towards point, he's slapped one through extra cover, and he's swept one behind square on the leg side. Moves to 24 from 12, 35 for 1. Comes down again, goes over the top and gets 4 more. 1 bounce in towards the stand. And Hales is on the charge, 39 for 1.
Obviously, I admire Stephen Croft as a cricketer, and I'm not going to start feeling sorry for him right now, because he's put Notts to the sword so many times over the years. But it's difficult for any bowler when somebody like Hales, and I'd include Joss Butler, and there's plenty more, isn't there, up and down the country, when they're going like this. Where do you bowl to them?
Croft goes around the wicket this time. That's come off an edge. That'll be 4, I think. Parkinson's chasing after it, and in the end he slows up. He knows that's going to beat him. It's another 4 for Alex Hales. Stephen Croft has the old double teapot on, hands on hips. Where does he bowl? Oh, where does Croft bowl to Hales? 43 for 1 with 1 ball left of the 4th.
I mean, both batsmen have had a little bit of luck, but you know they're going to go hard, because that's just the way Notts play.
32 from 14.
Been a couple of streaky ones, but they've got away with it so far.
Boundary with every delivery so far, but not with this final one. Hales going back and content just to punch it through mid-on. Davis comes up to field. He's happy with his lots from that over, and I don't blame him. 5 successive 4s, and the 6th ball was just pushed down the ground for a single for him to keep the strike. Hales 33 from 15, and the Notts Outlaws 4 overs in, 44 for 1.
Notts unchanged, as we've said. Lancashire 2 enforced changes. Liam Livingstone and Joss Butler away with England. First look for me at Finn Allen, New Zealander, at the top of the order. Keaton Jennings comes back in. He's not played much T20 cricket of late, has he? And Luke Wells, formerly with Sussex, got a big 100 down at Hove against Notts, and Chris Reed's last game in 2017. Now in the red of Lancashire. Here's Hartley, the slow left arm spinner, round the wicket. Bowls to Hales, can't get this one away. This the 5th over, start of the 5th over. It's a little strange on Friday evening, playing a 15 over a side game, and the power play was 4.3 overs. Just made it a tad interesting.
And confusing.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The leg side field just being set now by Dane Villas. Here's Hartley round the wicket, bowls, hit away on the offside, should be out. End of Hales. Hartley's got his man. Catch by Finn Allen, who we were just talking about in the covers. Hales trying to lift it up and over. A little bit of a double bluff, I guess, in that Lancashire were orchestrating their leg side field. Hales backed away, thinking, well, I'm not going to hit it out there, fellas, I'm going to hit it the other way, and he hit it straight to cover. And we've got a little bit of the Sound of Music, some royalties for Julie Andrews and her crew.
Well, it was fun while it lasted for Alex Hales. That was a highly entertaining 33, I think. But he's done his bit with the bat for the day. Makes his way back off towards the Notts dressing room.
So Alex Hales has gone for 33. The new man is Ben Duckett, scored the winning runs in last year's final, completing his third victory on finals day. Duckett, 2 with Northants and 1 with Notts. 2 lefties out there now in Budinger and Duckett. Another one to come in Tom Moores. And then Samit Patel and Stephen Mullaney. 2 right-handers in the middle order.
Keep coming, don't they?
So the music dies down for a second or two. Here's Hartley bowling, and Duckett's away. First ball clipped to mid-wicket, gets a single. Plenty watching, not only in the ground, but also on the balcony of the hotel as well. Mentioned before, the only time I've stayed in there, they gave me a room round the back overlooking the bins.
Good, should think so.
Budinger back on strike. How will he go? Well, he just drops it to mid-wicket, the same as Duckett did a moment or 2 ago. Another single to him, to this partnership from 2 balls faced. Number standing watching on the point. I'd imagine they've paid for the hospitality. Perhaps had a nice Sunday roast or some such up there before the game. Duckett goes on the sweep. He'll get a single here. Parkinson, I'm sure, will see into the attack as soon as the power play ends. He does the fielding. 47 for 2, 1 ball left in this over.
Sounds like quite a nice way to start the day, isn't it? Bit of Sunday lunch,
yeah.
Watch a bit of cricket.
Next ball is a push and run from Budinger. There was never a second's hesitation there. He was almost running as he played the shot. End of a successful over for Tom Hartley. Lancashire are 40, beg your pardon, Notts are 48 for 2 after 5 overs.
Good stuff from Hartley, that. 2 overs, 1 for 13, bowling in the power play. That is a good return for Hartley. Croft 2 overs, 1 for 24, but of course one of those overs was
mayhem.
Was mayhem, yes. Alex Hales hitting him for 5 successive 4s, so it's just slightly dented cross figures. Luke Wood having bowled 1 over, which went for 10. Returns for Lancashire Lightning. This is the 6th over, so the final over of the power play. This field is bobbing around all over the place here. They've got a fine leg, and there's a deep square leg. Fine leg out towards the left of the camera. Fine leg underneath the point. There is Wood, left arm of the wicket. Bangs one in just short of a length. He tries to take it on. Budinger through to Villas. Dot ball.
Pacey delivery, wasn't it?
It was.
Settled in okay here, hasn't he, Luke Wood? He's got some championship runs. He's had a century for the Red Rose and taken some useful wickets. This is obviously his first full season. If we say that last year was an abbreviated season for everybody.
Yeah, I think he has settled in well.
Jack Blatherwick here as well, who not supporters will know, didn't get too many opportunities to see him at first team level at Trent Bridge, but regular second 11 viewers will know all about Jack.
With left arm over the wicket, bowls. Budinger trying to slash it away through the onside, but yeah, he kind of cloths it out towards Keaton Jennings at mid-wicket, gets a run for it, moves to 9, 49 for 2.
So Duckett down on strike, has a championship century here at Old Trafford from his Northants day. He's got 134 here in 2015. I'm sure Scott remembers every ball of it.
It's imprinted on my mind.
Guessing that'd be a Division 2 game in 2015, Lancashire Northants.
Wood in to Duckett. Little clip off the hip. Out towards mid-wicket. They're tumbling Keaton Jennings. Stops the ball. Big beaming smile on his face. He'll be pleased to get back in the team, Keaton Jennings. That brings up the 50 as well for the Notts Outlaws. 50 for 2. Halfway into the power play. So lost 2 wickets. which is okay. You don't lose more than 2, do you, really, in the first 6 overs, but got 50 on the board. Budinger back on strike. Luke Wood starting from beyond the 30-metre circle. And comes tearing his way back in past the umpire and balls. It's hit beautifully back over his head. 1 bounce and 4 runs. Glorious on drive by Budinger. That's a terrific cricket shot. And it brings him 4 runs. What a good-looking shot that was.
I'd probably say that's the first one that he's middled. No, seriously, he's you know, he's edged 1 or 2. He's pushed and runned 1 or 2. He's tried to smash the cover off another couple, but he got hold of that one, didn't he?
Yeah, beautiful shot.
You've got to be a confident young man, I think, to come into the first team and take number 1 as your squad number, haven't you?
Wood into him. Slashed away through the onside to Hartley, who takes a catch. And having hit a glorious shot through straight mid-on for 4 in the previous ball, he drags one straight into the hands of Tom Hartley, who takes his 2nd catch of the innings at mid-on. Good catch, skipping away to his left-hand side. Safe pair of hands, Tom Hartley, for Lancashire Lightning. 3rd wicket to fall in the power play, 54 for 3.
Yeah, 1 ball left in the power play overs. Was looking to make the most of it. Hit the first one as crisply as you like. Got hold of that one as well, but obviously couldn't keep it down and didn't get enough elevation. Hit it straight to mid-on on the discs. So Budinger goes for 13.
Yeah.
Alex Hale's out for 33. Joe Clark 4. Sol Budinger 13. And the hard-hitting lefties keep on coming. Here's Tom Moores out to join Ben Duckett. Familiar scenario in that Notts have lost 3 wickets in the power play. Crucially, the 3 hard hitters, 1, 2 and 3 in the order, as on Friday evening, have all perished in the power play. So it might take a little bit of a rebuilding job here. 1 ball left in this Luke Wood over. Just asking the skipper if he can bring Tom Hartley up into the circle. He was out on the long-on fence. He's been brought back to exactly where he was when he caught it.
Here comes Wood to complete the over balls, and just clipped away by Moores. Off the pads, out through the leg side for a single. Keeps the strike. So that is the power play done. So 55 runs on the board after the 6 overs, but for the loss of 3 wickets, perhaps even power play? Or
I'm sure Lancashire will be delighted to have got rid of Hales, Clark and Budinger. They'll know that there's obviously still some capable players there, and you'd say Lancashire would be probably the happier of the 2 dressing rooms right now, but you know that can all change over the next 3/4 of an hour quite dramatically.
You see Danny Lamb coming into the attack. Just going to update BBC Manchester listeners who are going to join us. There's Lamb. We see him with the ball for the first time. 6 overs gone, 55 for 3, the power play done. Lancashire Lightning have seen the back of Alex Hales for a very entertaining 33, Joe Clark for 4 and Sol Budinger for 13. A wicket each for Hartley, Croft and for Wood, with Duckett and Moores currently out in the middle as this one's sent out towards the onside, and a diving, tumbling effort from Alex Davis trying to take the catch. It would have been a fantastic take from Davis, but he unable to cling on to it. And that's an extra run on the board for Duckett. And Nottinghamshire Outlaws, the Notts Outlaws, batting first here. They won the toss, wanted to have a bat first. They've lost 3 wickets in the power play, are into the 7th over, and it's 57 for 3.
A little bit of a scare there for Tom Moores. Gets back for 2. This is down the leg side and will have to be re-bowled. It's been a very disciplined performance from the Lancashire attack so far, but just the first one going astray there. So a run and an extra ball to be bowled. 58 for 3. Here comes Danny Lamb in again from the pavilion end. Took the pace off the ball there, a fancy, and Tom Moores just had to wait and just check his drive. Ended up pushing it back to the bowler.
He's had quite a decent T20 season, Daniel Lamb, with the ball so far. He's picked up 3 wickets, but crucially only got around about 8 and over, which is not too bad at all.
Tom Moore's batting just outside his crease and can't get this one away either. In fact, he nearly got into a little bit of trouble. And now they're going to pinch a single. It was chopped down into the ground. I said Moores was batting outside his crease. He wasn't sure where the ball had gone. It actually ran behind the wicket to Dane Vilas, the keeper, who knew he was still outside his crease, kicked the ball towards the stumps. I think even if he'd hit, all it would have been was a matter of Moores just grounding his bat, but he missed the stumps, and as the ball flew past the stumps and the batsman, they decided to steal a very quick and cheeky single. It'll count to Tom Moores, as it initially did come off the bat. There's Lamb in bowls, cut away for runs, 4 of them by Ben Duckett. Nice bit of placement there by the former England international. Right, now we have to keep calling him in that. No signs of a recall for Ben Duckett, who played a little bit of Test cricket, a little bit of one-day cricket for England in 2016, and a couple of years ago, his first full season for Notts, he was called back in for 1 T20 against Pakistan. 63 for 3. Next ball again to Duckett. He's gone to pull that one away. He's mistimed it, clothed it, they call it. Back to the bowler. So the last 4 balls have been 3 dots and a boundary. 63 for 3. Moores has 4. Duckett has 7. Hartley, Croft and Wood with the 3 wickets for the side in red. Do like the little adjustments they've made to the Lancashire shirt this year. Clipped away on the leg side. A little bit of a stripe down there. Nice looking pattern. Freshening things up. 64 for 3 with a single taken there at the end of that over. 7 overs have gone here. Notts winning the toss, opting to bat, and now in these important middle overs they've got to do a little bit of rebuilding. 64 for 3 after 7.
Of which we've seen 2 overs bowled from Tom Hartley, 2 from Stephen Croft, 2 from Luke Wood, and the first one there from Daniel Lamb. No Matt Parkinson. Lancashire Lightning holding him back a little bit. Stephen Croft returns to bowl his 3rd over, 1 for 24. And Ben Duckett on strike, unbeaten on 8. So here's Croft clutching the ball towards his chest and comes bouncing in. Pushed away into the offside. There's a short extra cover there, which is Luke Wells on his T20 debut for Lancashire. Scoops the ball up, hands it back to Croft. In again, full of ball, squeezed away by Duckett behind square on the leg side for a single. Duckett moves up to 9, 65 for 3. Brings Tom Moores on strike. A brief spell with Lancashire, quite a few years back now. And Tom was a Lancashire player on loan from Trent Bridge. Croft in and bowling. Oh, that beats everything, and Croft can't believe it. He's on his backside rolling around. He can't believe how that's got through. Now, what's the umpire going to signal? He's going to signal a bye. So it's beaten everything. There's a wry smile on the face of Stephen Croft as he makes his way back towards his mark. There we are. How's that not gone through? How's that not rattle onto the stumps, he says. In comes Croft again, a little bit wider. Carved away through the offside. Just for 1. Rob Jones, I think, fielding out there in the deep for Lancashire, back in the team. 68 for 3. Croft again, this time Duckett just drags the ball down the ground. Keaton Jennings comes up to field. Score ticks along to 69 for 3. 1 ball left of the 8th over. By the way, the shirt that Stephen Croft's wearing today, as he comes in and bowls, and that's driven nicely through extra cover. Here's Rob Jones coming round to scoop up the ball, and they come back for a second. It's good running. That completes the 8th over. 71 for 3 after 8, with Duckett on 10 and Moores on 3. Just mentioned Stephen Croft's shirt as he completes his 3rd over. And for those with us on the live stream, in the build-up to the game. I'm sure you'll have heard from Paul Allott talking today about the Men's Health Day, which this fixture has been associated with in conjunction with the Bob Willis Fund and the Barry Kilby Prostate Cancer Appeal and the Lancashire Cricket Foundation, all combining for this Father's Day Men's Health Day. And I mentioned Stephen Croft. Well, he's going to auction off his shirt at the end of this game to try and help raise some more money. Here comes Matt Parkinson for the first time into to duck it. That's cut, and that's cut for 4. And Finn Allen out on the deep backward point boundary, trying to get across the ground to scoop the ball up. It was there, a little wide, and he jumped right into it. Did Ben Duckett. Gets himself 4 runs. Squad moves on to 75 for 3. Parkinson with his leg spin, and this time Duckett on the back foot, dragging it out towards deep square leg. And Rob Jones scoops up the ball, and Duckett moves to 15, 76 for 3. Parkinson blows a little bit of warm air into his hand, comes in and bowls, swept by Moores. Jones will come across, slides down, scoops the ball up, come back for a couple more. Good work out in the deep by Rob Jones. Back in the team for Lancashire Lightning, first T20 match of the season for Jones. Played a little bit last year in that curtailed season, which T20 Blast was, of course, played behind closed doors. Parkinson to Moores, it'll dab into the onside. Now, who wants this? It's about 3 or 4 red shirts scampering after it. Throw comes in. Well, Villas takes it and then demolishes the stumps, but Tom Moores, with the dive, has made his ground. Might want some new gloves as well, not surprised. Sort himself out after that enthusiastic dive to make sure he was home. 80 for 3. With 2 balls left of the 9th over. Moores has 11 and Duckett has 15. It's Parkinson's first over. It looks like Tom Moores needs a little bit of something from the Notts dressing room. Take his gloves off and yeah, maybe he's ripped his glove perhaps. There's a bit of sticky tape out there as well. 12th man's coming out. How many pair of gloves is he going to bring out? Be 2 or 3 options here. There'll be a towel. Bound to be a drink as well. Looks like just a little change of gloves for Moores. Dane Villas and Matt Parkinson in conversation. Lancashire captain and the leg spinner. Peter Trigo coming out with a new set of gloves for Tom Moores. 80 for 3. We're in the 9th in this T20 Blast fixture, live from Emirates Old Trafford. The North Group fixture between a team who are 4th. That's the Notts Outlaws against the Lancashire Lightning, who are 5th. After a little bit of a delay, Parkinson's back in and bowling, and Moores is nudging the ball into the onside. Parkinson rather enthusiastically shuffling across the ground to field off his own bowling. Run for Moores, he moves up to 12. 1 ball remaining of the 9th. Ben Duckett on strike. Parkinson's first over. It's taken a bit of time because of that delay, but here he is to complete it, and he completes it with a dot ball. Just push back towards him. So 9 overs gone. 81 for 3. Moores has 12. Duckett unbeaten on 15. Wickets of Hales, Clark and Budinger for 33, 4 and 13 respectively. A wicket each for Hartley, Croft and Luke Wood.
I shall be fit, running up and down the stairs to do my
busy. Yeah, keeping you active is that.
Updates this afternoon. Nice to see a Seba Mead out there on the field. He's doing the errands for Notts, shall we say. Former Lancashire man, of course, very popular in these parts. He's been away carrying the drinks for England for a few weeks in the Test series. Here's Danny Lamb in again. Ball's on the pads and brushed the pad, which didn't help Tom Moores or Notts Outlaws. It goes through to Dane Vilas because it brushed the pad. It will go down in the book as a dot ball. Moores has 12, Duckett 15. We're in the 10th over. Lamb's first over went for 9. He's in again, bowls, pushed away, in the air but put down. Spilled by Alex Davis out on the deep mid-wicket boundary. Came rushing in, Davis, to get there, did everything right, got the ball, I think with both hands, and then it hit the heel of the hand and came out. So a life there for Moores. Takes the single, moves on to 13 from 12. Duckett has 15 from 12. And Notts are 82 for 3. Next ball, pulled away along the ground by Duckett just for a single. Throws his head back in frustration, Ben Duckett. Wanted to get that in the gap there between Croft and Alex Davis. Trying to find the boundary ropes. Playing towards the centre of the square here. A 6 is a big hit, I think.
It is certainly to the offside as we watch Moores face up.
Lamb in again, past umpire Malinder. Has all the appearance in the world of being the fastest ball ever bowled, because Dane Vilas took it and it was almost like he'd been shot by a cannon, because he was knocked off his feet as he took the ball. Neil Malinder at this end, he's umpired more blast matches than any other umpire. This is his 172nd. The ghost, they call him. Next ball, slower one. So that just emphasises, I think, how quick the previous one was. This one bounced twice before reaching Vilas. Square leg, Neil Pratt, who umpired. He was one of the umpires at Trent Bridge on Friday, and this is just his 8th game.
Good stats.
83 for 3. Final ball of the 10th. Short, pulled away for 4. That was a disappointing end to the over from the bowler. Just what Tom Moores and Notts needed. A half tracker which was sat up, and Moores smacked it to the boards. 87 for 3 at the halfway stage.
Yeah, did get a bit of a slap, that one, didn't it? There to be hit, put it away, made the most of it. 87 for 3. A bit of a dance in the stands, why not? A bit of a Sunday jig.
Just quickly in the other games in the group, Durham are 78 for 3 at the halfway stage against Birmingham. That's in the northeast. Leicestershire batting at Wantage Road. They're in the 10th over, 89 for 1 against Northants. And at Leeds, Yorkshire 73 for 1, also in the 10th over against Derbyshire.
It's all quite tight, isn't it?
Yeah.
That North group. So Parkinson, first over went for 10. Duckett on strike on 16. Duckett looking to sweep the ball. He does, behind square. Rob Jones collects it. Duckett gets a single. He moves to 17. Score moves on to 88 for 3.
Very wristy, Ben Duckett, and he'll bring out the reverse sweep from time to time as well.
Moores waits for Parkinson. Looks to sweep again. Will be signalled as a wide from umpire Pratt. 89 for 3. Keeper crouches down. Moores on strike. Parkinson in. It'll dabble out towards square leg. Who's first to this? Danny Lamb will be out by the square leg umpire. Moores moves to 18. 90 for 3. Brings Duckett back on strike. He's looking leg side, Ben Duckett. That's a big old hit. Long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square. Instead, that little sweep off a bottom edge is scooped up at short fine leg by Danny Lamb. Duckett gets a single. Moves to 18. 91 for 3. 3 off the over so far. And then a flicker away by Moores. Again, Lamb's busy. He's tumbling to his right. It's a backward square leg to stop the ball. Moores moves up to 19. Scored to 92 for 3. Duckett back on strike. Parkinson to Duckett. It's muscled away through mid-wicket. There's 2 chasing after it. Croft puts the dive in, and it beats the dive of Stephen Croft. And 4 runs. He dragged it away through wide mid-on out towards that boundary in front of the hotel. Croft, even with the dive, couldn't stop it. 4 runs, 96 for 3.
Sit on these stats, don't you? This is Ben Duckett's 9th T20 innings against Lancashire, his highest score now. 20 was his previous best, believe it or not, either with Northants or with Notts, so he's on to 22 anyway.
He's due some runs in the T20 then against Lancs, isn't he? Swept away, adding to these runs here, and this time Rob Jones with an enthusiastic, acrobatic dive. But it's successive boundaries to end the over. That's a terrific sweep shot from Duckett. Absolutely timed that one. Beautiful roll of the wrist. It rattled its way towards the boundary. There goes the old belly flop from Rob Jones, trying to stop it. Couldn't do it. And that brings up the 100 for the Notts Outlaws. 100 for 3 after 11.
46 from 25 balls now, this pair have put on. As Scott said, the 100 on the board after 11. So 9 overs to go. Stephen Croft going to bowl out.
He is, yeah.
Very pleased he's not bowling all 4 of his overs to Alex Hales, I'm sure. Past 200 appearances in T20 cricket the other evening. Bowls here to Moores, who drops it on the leg side for a single. We've got Samit Patel playing in this game, who's played in more domestic matches than anybody else, and second behind Danny Briggs in terms of number of wickets taken, but in terms of number of catches in the domestic T20, Stephen Croft's almost like in another league. In having the next 3 years off, and he'll still be the leading catcher. A lot of opposition batsmen have hit the ball to him over the years. Let's put it like that. This next one's swept away on the leg side. Something like 40 catches in front of anybody else. Quite extraordinary. 102 for 3.
Is it 117 catches, I think?
Something quite remarkable, isn't it? There he is, Croft. Man we're talking about, bowling to Tom Moores, comes down the track and drives it out towards Luke Wood, who has to come round, does very, very well, because as we know, Luke Wood, left arm thrower. The ball was to his right hand side, but he quickly got there and got into a position where he could get the ball in the air, and that certainly put the batsman off from coming back for a second. 21 to Moores from 19, 27 to Duckett from 18. Here's Croft. Now he's gone for the switch hit, and he's hit it straight to the fielder just inside the circle there. Danny Lamb says Scott, frantically looking for number 31. I thought he was number 31. It's 26. Get your eyes checked, Bracegirdle. Next ball is hit away onto the leg side. We're talking about an absence of sixes. There is one, and it's caught in the crowd. £1,000 to you, sir.
Who's paying for that?
Yeah, we'll ignore that. There's absolutely nothing. The ball's got to be sanitised. There are one or two grounds, or there has been over the years, hasn't there, around the world, where you can get yourself a nice cash prize if you catch one in the crowd. You know, sadly, there's I'm sure nothing here today, but it was a very good catch by somebody in that temporary permanent stand away to our left.
And without dropping the drink. That's the most important thing, isn't it?
Very well. He's played a bit of cricket. Croft in again to Duckett. Just helps this onto the leg side. Moves on to 34, Ben Duckett. 34 from 21. That's the end of Stephen Croft. 4 overs, 1 for 39 for the former skipper. I think we can now call him a bit of a veteran, but very, very useful all-rounder. 110 for 3 after 12.
There was a period here a couple of years ago where spectators in certain parts of the ground, if they were wearing red caps, Emirates caps, and they took a catch, they won a holiday. They won a trip to Dubai, I think. But unfortunately,
times are hard.
Times have changed. No one's flying anywhere.
All you get now is a ticking off for catching the ball. And don't you know you're supposed to leave it for a steward?
Exactly. You get a free set of hand gel or something like that. Here's Hartley starting his 3rd over, and an enterprising shot from Duckett. It bounced a little bit, and he went for the old kind of reverse swat for a single out towards square leg.
Technical term, the reverse swat.
Quite sure what shot it was, to be honest with you.
My feet are off the ground, you'll note, just in case a wicket falls here. It's not my fault.
Yes, 1-1-1 for 3. This is swept out towards the onside by Moores.
We've had a swat and a sweep, and I think that was a smear.
Bounced straight in front of Davis at that deep mid-wicket boundary. It sounded good out the middle of the bat, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Good bit of wood he's got there.
112 for 3. Big appeal for LBW. He's gone. Duckett's gone looking to sweep it. He missed. It hit the pad. And umpire Pratt reckons that was going on to hit the stumps. And Hartley picks up his second wicket. 112 for 4 in the 13th.
That's a huge one. That really is a huge one, because Ben Duckett was playing nicely. He was playing 360-degree cricket there. Duckett hitting the ball all around the ground, and just one attempted sweep too many there. He's missed it and looked fairly adjacent. Just about to check out a replay here, and yeah, you can understand why it was given. It was certainly in the vicinity. Umpire with a good view straight down the line. Ben Duckett drags himself off, all the look of a weary man, a very disappointed man. Here is somebody who wasn't disappointed on Friday evening. He was absolutely bubbling. He was full of it, Sam. Fair to say his juices were flowing against the old rivals, Derbyshire. 64 from 32 balls, and then picked up 2 wickets. How he got the second wicket, I'll never know, because he was on such a high, having got the first one, which took him to 250 wickets. He was leaping about like a spring lamb, was Samit.
So he knew he was closing in on the record then?
He sent me texts for about the last week,
right?
As he got closer and closer.
Hartley 2 for 15 in the 13th.
Even to the point you will announce it on the ground when it happens, won't you, Dave? No, Samit, I won't. I'm on the radio. I'll announce it on the radio. But it was announced and it was up on the screens.
He's on strike now, facing Tom Hartley. It's just eased away through mid-on for a single. He's off the mark as well, so he moves up to 1. The score moves on to 113 for 4.
Only playing white ball cricket now at the top level. He's been playing on Saturdays in the Derbyshire Premier League for Langley Mill, but he has been travelling over this way, playing for Haslingden every Sunday this season.
Left arm around the wicket, and Tom Moores clips the ball out towards square leg for a single. 23 to him, 114 for 4.
To an idiot then, where's Haslingden?
Haslingden, yeah, that's kind of like Burnley way.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's been playing for them every Sunday. They're probably missing out on their match fees today, no Samit.
Forced away into the offside, but to extra cover. End of the over. Good one for Lancashire Lightning, for Tom Hartley, who's bowled very nicely today. 2 of his 3 overs have been in the power play. He's bowled 3 overs, 2 for 17. 114 for 4.
7 to go. In terms of runs, not so okay at the moment. 114 from 13, but it's those 4 wickets, and it's the bottom 4, I guess, on the card as well. There's Stephen Mullaney to come in next, of course, but then a little bit of let's hit it and hope with Luke Fletcher, Matt Carter, Calvin Harrison and Jake Ball. With all due respect to all of them, they may get a few away for runs, or maybe a little bit of playing and missing or hitting to the fielders. We did see Luke Fletcher get hold of Matt Parkinson, hitting for 4 sixes in a one-dayer at Trent Bridge 3 or 4 years ago, but that is the exception rather than the norm. Here's Luke Wood bowling to Moores down the leg side, gloved past the diving Dane Vilas, who might have got a bit of his keeping gauntlet to it, but a run is taken nonetheless. 115 for 4. The crowd are clapping, and it always puts you on red alert, doesn't it, Scott? You're wondering what they're clapping for, but I think it was just the very good attempt from Vilas.
I think so.
So Samit Patel on strike, and former teammate Luke Wood to bowl to him. Wood into his 3rd over, 1 for 18 so far, dismissed Sol Budinger. Samit 310 matches before today in the T20 format.
Blimey.
And this is his 197th for Notts.
Superb.
He's only missed 8. This one's clipped away on the leg side, and there's a single to Patel. He's only missed 8 since T20 started in this country, and he was either on England or England Lions duty for each of those. Never missed a game through injury.
That's magnificent.
You know, you talk about Samet with fitness issues and all the other stuff that's labelled against him. Never missed a game through illness, injury, or anything else.
It's a fabulous record, is that?
Yeah. It's 36 now. Can't go on forever. I think at the moment he's got a contract this season and next season. Luke Wood to bowl to Tom Moores, who drops it on the leg side and will just amble down to this end for an easy single.
Good cricket, that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just a little drop and go. Nothing wrong with that.
Won't be too many rapid twos with Samet out there, which is an essential part of Tom Moore's game. Mulaney, the captain, in next against his first county, of course. He just played 3 T20 games for Lancashire, Stephen Mulaney, and they were all away from Old Trafford. Next ball gets big on Samet, and from under his chin he plays it down on the leg side, and then has to quickly respond to Moore's call, and he might have been in a little bit of trouble if Luke Wood, who did really well in his follow through to get to the ball, shied at the stumps and narrowly missed. Good cricket all around.
I don't think he was too far away, was he?
No, good cricket all round. Those of you watching the live stream will get a good look at that Lancashire shirt this year. That's quite nice, isn't it?
Yep, I like it. Yep.
118 for 4. 2 balls left in the 14th. Really is quite a lengthy run from Luke Wood. But he's back there now. Comes in to bowl to Moores, hits it away on the leg side, not quite in the gap. Alex Davis quickly to the ball. Good fielder, Davis, as well as being a very good wicket keeper as well, of course. Single taken. 119 for 4.
Yeah, still not keeping wicket, Alex Davis. It was a choice, I guess, between Davis and Villas as to who would take the gloves in the absence of Joss Butler, but he's not kept all season, Alex. Just being a little bit cautious with his hand, and he's got a problem with his left hand. So without wanting to do too much damage, and there's plenty of options there with Villas, and Croft can even do it as well.
Wood to Patel, who's on 3 from 4 balls. This is down the leg side, and will have to be re-bowled. Always useful for the batting side. Not quite as good as a no ball, of course, because then you get a free hit. Samet walked in on Friday evening. He sort of knew almost from the off it was going to be his night, because he walked in on a free hit.
That's quite handy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd take that.
You can have a bit of a swish, can't you? And you know, it's almost like school playground cricket, isn't it? You know, you're not out first ball anyway. Whatever happens, this is dropped on the leg side. He'll take a single this time, and that concludes the 14th over. 121 for 4. 6 to go.
Six to go with the bowling options for Dane Villas. Of 1 over for Tom Hartley. Wood's still got 1 more to bowl. Lamb's got 2 to bowl. Parkinson's got 2 to bowl as well. So
Phil Cooper says Haslingden is where Mike Harding says they throw rocks at the sun. Some of their ex-pros are Ian Chappell and Michael Slater.
Oh, tremendous. There's plenty of good names in the Lancashire leagues over the years.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So Parkinson's leg spin from the Anderson end. 121 for 4. And the bowling to Patel, who's up onto his toes and pushing it away through the onside for a single.
Quite understandably, is commanding a bit of respect. Parkinson is just been played gently there by Patel. Had a bit of a look at it. Took it, got him away from a boundary first ball, didn't he?
Moore's back on strike. played up and through the air out towards deep square leg. Oh, Jones does really well. It's a good effort from Rob Jones. Then the relay throw comes in from Alex Davis, but good work in the deep.
Yeah, he's doing the boundary on both sides, isn't he, Alex Davis? You often get the big fast bowlers doing long leg to long leg or what have you, but Davis in one of the key positions on the ground. He's having to cross from side to side at the end of each over.
124 for 4. Moore's on 28. He came back for 2, but it could have been easily been 4. Also trying to steer it down towards short fine leg. Patel sent back.
And he wanted the run.
He did. He was keen, wasn't
he? Yeah.
Tom Moores comes down, has a little chat with Samit. He doesn't look too concerned.
No.
Leaning on his bat at the non-striker's end. Don't worry, Tom. All's well. Skips towards the bowler this time. There's Moores slashing up the ball away through mid-wicket. Along the ground for a single. Moves to 29, not out. 125 for 4.
Lots need a flurry of boundaries. You fancy just to get that momentum back again. At the moment it's looking more like 150 than 180 or 190.
4 off the over so far. Parkinson to Patel. A swing and a miss as he's beaten by that leg spin of Matt Parkinson. Taken by Dane Villas. He was looking for a big shot then, wasn't he?
Yeah. Probably sort of thinking what I just said. Boundaries are needed.
Last ball of the over. Parkinson to Patel. He gets it this time. Out towards deep mid-wicket and gets 6, I think. He does. The umpires, I think, just looking for confirmation. It looked like it had cleared the rope for me. And indeed, that comes back towards the umpire from the Lancashire fielders. Well, he swung and missed at the previous delivery, but he made full contact with the last ball of that over. 131 for 4. 15 gone. So 5 remain. Samit Patel on to 11. Tom Moore's on 29. Moore's 29 off 27 balls with 1-4. Still with plenty of power to come with these two in the middle and still with the captain Stephen Mullaney. Dave Villas has gone back to Danny Lamb. 2 overs for 15. Lamb's figures. Parkinson's now bowled 3 overs. He's got 1 left. He's gone for 33. And there's Lamb right arm around the wicket, full of length. Squirts down towards short third man. Stopped by Parkinson. Moores gets a single. Moves up to 30. Score to 132 for 4. Samit Patel back on strike. Where's he looking? He's just clobbered Matt Parkinson for 6. The last ball he faced. Step to the leg side, little push into the off. Calm little push out towards the covers. Luke Wells inside the circle. Picks the ball up. There might be an outside chance of seeing Luke Wells have a bowl today, but I don't think he's going to be required. Moore's back on strike. Here's Lamb. Right arm around the wicket. Club down the ground. He's underneath that. Luke Wood on the long off boundary. Moores moves up to 31. Score moves on to 134 for 4. Brings Samit Patel back on strike. It's a big hit to the leg side. A deep square leg, deep mid-wicket, long on. Hit back down the ground. Caught by Lamb off his own bowling. Terrific reactions from Danny Lamb. Patel's gone for 12. And Lamb celebrates. Bang, look at that. Great little catch off his own bowling. plucking it from the air and then tossing it up in celebration and going to be congratulated by his teammates. Instinctive work from Lamb off his own bowling. And Patel departs. 1-3-4 for the loss of 5 wickets now. Patel has gone, caught and bowled by Danny Lamb for 12, I think. 134 for 5. And the Notts Outlaws skipper, Stephen Mullaney, comes out to the middle.
Yeah, just can't quite get the momentum, can they, Notts, in this innings? Every time they just look as if they might be putting a partnership together, a wicket goes. Samit, 12 from, I think it was 10 balls in the end.
12 from 10, yep. With that 1-6 in that previous over which he faced from Parkinson. Lamb's gone for 1 for 18 from his 2.4. So Mullaney on strike. Here is Lamb into him. Pushed back down the ground, and Lamb and Moores collide into each other. Get through for a single. All good-natured.
Good old shoulder barge ref.
Was a bit, wasn't it?
If it was football, somebody would have been rolling around on the ground, wouldn't they?
Yeah. At least a couple of times on the ground. 1-3-5 for 5. Final ball of the over. Daniel Lamb. It's slashed away by Moores, but straight to Luke Wells. A dot ball to end it. 16 gone, 4 remain. 135 for 5. Moores 31. Mullaney on 1.
Yeah, right now, Lancashire undoubtedly the side on top. Notts need a really big contribution here in these last 4 overs. Strange weather conditions at the moment. You look down on the ground and there's shadows all around the players and the umpires. Clearly the sun's up there somewhere, but right over the ground as we look up, filthy black clouds. They'd look threatening. If you had a forecast that suggested you were going to have an afternoon of wet weather, you'd say it's arrived, but thankfully we haven't, and I'm sure it will be okay. Hartley to bowl his final over. He's got figures of 2 for 17. He's also done well in the deep, catching Joe Clark and Sol Budinger from the pavilion end. Slow left arm, bowls to Stephen Mullaney, works it on the leg side, and despite them both running the first one quickly, there's only a single. 136 for 5. Quieting down in the cheap seats. Somebody getting excited about something, wasn't there? How many do we think's in, Scott?
Well, I think that, the maximum they can get, I think, is 4,000.
Next ball, 2 Moores. It was a full toss, and again he's hit it out into the deep, but they are big boundaries on that the leg side to the left-hander, and despite him really getting hold of it, it was a fairly routine bit of work for Alex Davis just to run in from the fence, pick it up and get the ball back towards the keeper, so only a single taken. Feels like a fairly sizable crowd.
It does,
also feels like they're enjoying themselves as a single is taken here by Mullaney, dropping it on the leg side.
Perhaps not too far away from the maximum they can get in. Maybe not too far away from the 4,000.
They've come to see the entertainers, that's for sure. The defending champions, the holders.
Indeed. Well, a good team. Notts Outlaws, blimey.
Nobody's defended it, Scott. That's a
good start as well.
A little bit surprising, I guess, but probably good for the game. Next one is cut out into the offside by Moores, and come back for 2. Nice bit of work there on the fence. By saying it's good for the game, it's you know, there's too many sports where one side just dominates for, you know, a 4 or 5 or a 6 year period, and it just gets a little bit samey, and obviously we all want our own counties to do well, don't we? But I suppose it's good for the game in that there's different sides. Everybody's now been to finals day, and there's a good number that have won the trophy itself. There's a single taken here by Moores, who moves on to 35, 141 for 5.
Probably a reflection, isn't it, how difficult it is to win the thing, and the margins are so small in this format.
Yeah,
you can be a very good team and only win it maybe once.
Hartley bowls, and Stephen Mullaney with a outside portion of the bat he probably hadn't intended on using, has run it down to third man, and they'll get a couple of runs. Good work by Parkinson, a sliding stop just inside the rope down below us, keeping them to 2. 143 for 5 at the end of the 17th, and Hartley has finished his work for the day. His figures have just disappeared off the board, but there's something like 2 for 25, I would guess. As we have a little look on the live stream around some of those very much enjoying their afternoon here at the cricket. Those of you following on the BBC Sport website and app, just listening to the commentary, well, you can only imagine how excited they look in the crowd.
And look at this, look at your little shirt as well. I'm liking this.
Lucky green shirt.
Lucky green shirts on.
Lucky Sunday shirt.
I should have put some red on, shouldn't I, really?
A little bit like Tiger Woods and his maroon or red in his heyday. Lucky green on a Sunday.
Lucky green on a Sunday, that's what it is it? Goodness.
Outlaws green.
So Luke Wood will bowl his fourth and final over. 1 for 24. So 3 to go. Moore's on strike. Wood left arm of the wicket, bowls. He's gone big, he's gone... Oh, just over the head of Parkinson, and wants to come back for a second. It's not quite where he was aiming. He's trying to drive it, I think, through extra cover, but in the end it loops off a leading edge, just evading the fingertips of Matt Parkinson, running backwards at short third man.
Got away with one there, didn't he? But he didn't dwell on his fortune. He turned and very quickly got back down the other end to keep strike. Can do with Moores there right till the very end. Well, obviously and Mullaney as well, but Moores is just so quick between the stumps. Wood's final over here, 1 for 26, beginning his fourth.
Moores 37 off 34. This is banged in short, but down the leg side. Just tried to help it on its way, but the umpire signals are wide. 1-4-6 for 5. Captain's got a busy day, hasn't he? Keeping wicket, skipper in the team, marshalling the troops,
collecting the tea money, washing the shirts,
driving the bus, doing the whole lot,
filling in the team sheet, bit of score, making up the scorebook in the tea interval. And that's club cricket, isn't it? When you haven't got a score and you rely on the opposition.
Wood bowls again, speared in down the leg side. The batter turns around again. Another wide. The old count. And of course, Wood has to bowl them again.
You talk about club cricket, things you don't expect to see in the first-class game. Alex Hale's 96 not out at Durham the other night. 2 balls left. Broke his bat. And his initial thought was, Samit, come down here, let's swap bats. And he took Samit Patel's bat. He went down to the other end and had a tap or two. And I said, no, I can't play with this. So sent for another one. The crowd were booing him because they wanted to get on with the game. But it just looked as if he was going to use Samit's bat for a moment.
Wood to Moores, rocks back and pulls the ball out through the leg side. Croft will get to it first, just ahead of Alex Davis. And Tom Moores comes back for a second. He moves to 39, 149 for 5. One for 30, Luke Wood, but ball 2 wides in this over so far. Still got 4 balls left. Wood comes steaming back in, left arm over, full of length and off stump, driven down the ground by Tom Moores. Up comes Luke Wells to field. It brings up the 150 for the Outlaws. 150 for 5, halfway into the 18th.
I should say they need 30 at least. I think if you don't get 180, you don't win this game, probably. Of course, runs on the board, the opposition's got to get them, but looks a good surface, doesn't it? There's no real reason why a decent batting side shouldn't get 180 out there, unless there's an accumulation of pressure which gets to them, which you wouldn't imagine would happen to the Lancashire top order.
Wood left arm around the wicket. Oh, it's a no ball. As Mullaney will push it into the offside. Umpire sticks out his right arm to signal to the scorers a no ball.
That's massive. That's Luke Wood doing a little bit of charity work for his former side. He's just asking the umpire where his foot landed. He won't be too happy about that at all. Because that's 3 to the total, and obviously the extra ball and a free hit. Everything counts against the bowler if you do that.
Score moves on to 153 for 5. Still 3 balls left of the over, with the 2 wides and a no ball. This the free hit. Crucially, Moores on strike, unbeaten on 40. Where's he looking here for this? Wood comes left arm over the wicket. It's a full toss. He slaps it down towards long on. It'll bounce, I think, just in front of Stephen Croft. And in the end, the free hit cost him just a 1 run.
It was just a guess a heart in mouth moment where everybody wondered if it was too high, but I think it was okay, wasn't it? Well, clearly it was passed okay by the square leg umpire.
154 for 5. Tom Moores to 41. So that brings the Notts skipper Stephen Mullaney on strike, with the sun shining here at Emirates Old Trafford. And Wood from the Brian Statham end running in towards the pavilion. Again, left arm around the wicket. Has that helped around the corner? It is. And taken by Matt Parkinson, who says, "Thank you very much, Stephen Mullaney. That was catching practice for me." And he didn't disappoint. A pretty comfortable take for Parkinson. And Mullaney disappears. 6th wicket to fall, 154 for 6.
As you say, catching practice, just helped it on its way round the corner, but helped it straight into the hands of Matt Parkinson. So 2nd wicket to Luke Wood. So Stephen Mullaney on his way back to the Notts dugout and on his way out to the middle. Come in number 19, the Bulwell bomber himself, Luke Fletcher. Is Mahmood Lancashire's number 19?
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, just throw that on you there. Just,
it could be.
Sort of sticks in my mind that it might be, but anyway, 154 for 6. Luke Fletcher out there. His scores in the Blast this season: 0, 23, 1 not out, did not bat, and 3 not out. So the lusty blows he struck against Birmingham in a losing cause, the only time really that he's put bat to ball this season, because he's got a high score of 2 in the Championship this year. Not really found his form with the bat, and then flip that to what he's done with the ball, where he's having an outstanding red ball season. This might be interesting. Luke Wood might just go upstairs here.
Something in and around the ribcage, perhaps.
A little bit higher.
Wood left arm around the wicket, step to the leg side, chops it down the pitch, and gets through for a single. Luke Fletcher, so he's up and running. He keeps the strike as well. He's nicked it. Final ball of the over. 2 left. You want to see Tom Moores on strike for most of it from an Outlaws point of view. But Fletcher's got it for the start of the 19th over. 155 for 6.
Notts were 55 for 3, remember, at the end of the power play. Losing wickets in the 2nd over, Joe Clark, the 5th Alex Hales, and the 6th Sol Budinger. Duckett and Moores with a little bit of a stand there for the 4th wicket. Samit Patel made 12, Mullaney 6. Duckett, the other one to go, he made 35. Tom Moore's the top scorer. He's on 41. There are 12 balls left, and Matt Parkinson to bowl to Luke Fletcher. I wonder if either of them is thinking back to Trent Bridge, was it 3 or 4 years ago, when Fletcher did get hold of Parkinson. I think he hit him for 4 sixes in a row, but might need checking that one. Certainly Luke remembered it and enjoyed it. Parkinson out for a bit of revenge. First one served up, and Fletcher's got hold of that, hitting the out on the leg side, dropped. It's hit the fielder on the knees. Alex Davis down on the ground.
It's Luke Wood, I think.
They've come back for 2. Fletcher not holding back, trying to hit him over the point, and it was an opportunity. Down on the ground there, off the knee of the fielder, and identified as Luke Wood. This one's hit out onto the offside, and Fletcher goes in and out quickly. Has been caught by Keaton Jennings, and the briefest of visits to the middle by Luke Fletcher. Matt Parkinson just had a word there. Hard luck, mate, probably. Not so heading into the closing stages here now. 7 down, 157 for 7. Fletcher's gone for 3.
Been great to read the reports and look at the scorecards and actually listen to your commentaries as well of Luke Fletcher's season in the county championship. He's had a terrific year with the ball, hasn't he? Wonderful to see.
Well, twice he's betted his career best. He'd never had a 6 for before. He had a 5 for against Derbyshire, and you thought, yeah, right, he's had a few of them, but Notts won that game. And then he got a 6 for against county champions and Bob Willis trophy holders Essex, so a new career best. And then the next game went even better and got a 7 for against Worcestershire.
Fantastic.
There's Calvin Harrison, who certainly can bat. He's got a century in that pre-season game for Oxford University, but I don't think slogging the ball out of Old Trafford is his forte. Here on the reverse sweep is Tom Moores for 6. An extraordinary but brilliant shot by Tom Moores. Shot of the innings by Moores. This is terrific cricket. The leg spinner as good as any in world cricket. Matt Parkinson, for my money, has been summarily dealt with there by Moores. That was just superb. 163 for 7. Parkinson to Moores. What will he do this time? He'll come down the track and mistime it away on the leg side, and they'll only get a single.
It's an extraordinary shot, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Calvin Harrison at the crease, and made 22 not out against Birmingham. The game was long since up by that stage, and his only other innings was 1 not out against Northants, so he's not yet been dismissed in T20 cricket. Just 2 innings, 23 runs. 164 for 7. Matt Carter and Jake Ball to come. Parkinson bowls to him, and he goes on the reverse sweep, and we'll get a couple here. Nicely done, just what Notts needed. He's quick as well, Harrison, as I'm sure you'll see in the field. He will be one of the boundary riders in the first 6 overs, in fact throughout the innings, but those first 6 overs he is lightning fast.
Yeah, final ball of the 19th coming up. Parkinson into Harrison. Eased away through extra cover. Just for 1. Think of a second. 166 for 7. Notts Outlaws with a 1 over left. 167 for 7 now. And Tom Moores unbeaten on 48, playing a blinding little innings here for the Outlaws. 48 not out from 39 balls faced. Alex Hales hitting 33 earlier on, and Ben Duckett with 35. 2 wickets for Tom Hartley, 2 for Luke Wood, 1 for Croft, 1 for Lamb, and 1 for Parkinson. So 1 over left. The Notts Outlaws 167 for 7.
I said they need at least 180 to get that. Notts will need 13 in this final over. Danny Lamb will bowl it. During the course of this innings, Tom Moores has gone past Michael Lum. Lum with 1,116 T20 runs for Notts. Tom Moores has gone past it, 9th on the Notts all-time list in T20 cricket. So it's just a measure of how well Tom Moores has done over the last 3 or 4 years. Gone past Michael Lump. There's Lamb, 3 overs, 1 for 19. Bowls to Harrison, slower ball, worked round the corner. Single from the first ball, 168 for 7. I think they need a minimum of 12 from 5. 180 is my sort of par. Lancashire might stroll it. Lancashire might find themselves 20 for 5. You never know what's going to happen, but the brace girdle par is 180. What do you reckon? You've seen,
I think 180
a million games here over the years.
I think that 180 is a good score. I think that would be a very good score.
168 for 7. Tom Moores on 48 from 39 balls. It's only a 1-4, by the way. 1-4 and 1-6. But imagine his 2 count is fairly high. There's been lots of push and run 2s. He needs 2 for 50. Lamb to bowl to him. He's gone across his crease, and he's helped this out onto the leg side, and I think he'll be caught, and he will. He's gone for 48 in the final over. They did cross, but it was a comfortable catch on the rope by Alex Davis again, who seems to be just about everywhere. I'm not sure how many number 17 Alex Davises are out on the outfield, but this particular one gobbled that catch up at deep mid-wicket, and a above all else, Notts have lost a player in form, and it's a dot ball. So Tom Moores has to go. Deserved 50, but you don't always get what you deserve in life. He's out for 48. Here is Matthew Carter, big, tall off spinner. That's his day job primarily, but he'll be out there just to see if he can muscle a few away for runs should he get the opportunity. 168 for 8 with 4 balls left.
He dragged that one, didn't he, from so far outside off stump, out towards that shorter boundary, which is where he's aiming for. He's pushed wide by Lamb, but Moores was aiming for that shorter leg side boundary.
Here is Lamb as the music dies, bowls to Harrison, drops it on the leg side. Now, will they get 2 here? There's got to be... Oh, they didn't commit to it. I think it's going to be tight, they're home. Just seemed as if there was a half a second of hesitation, which they didn't need to be. Surely that was drop and run 2, as it was played into the leg side there. All the fielders, if not quite on the fence, 3/4 of the way back, certainly. So the 170 is up, 170 for 8. Harrison has 6 from 4. Seems a while since we had 2 right-handers out there. Maybe not. 170 for 8. Next ball is off the pad, taken by Dane Vilas. Now then, off the pad, off the bat, who knows what. They've run a single. Neil Mallinder's tapping his knee, so it's not a run to Harrison. I wondered if he was outside the line, and looking at it again, I wonder if he's outside the line. It's a leg by anyway. Nobody's going to change the umpire's mind. 171 for 8. You've got your finger up. You think it was out?
No. My finger's well and truly down. I'm in agreement with the umpires who have a better view than me. I'm 200 yards away.
Get off the fence. 171 for 8. That 180 looks difficult now.
It does.
They need a 5 and a 4. Daniel Lamb to bowl to Matt Carter, who helps it away onto the leg side and will be caught by Luke Wood. And this is turning into a pretty poor final over for Notts, a pretty decent one obviously for Lancashire, and Daniel Lamb as another wicket falls, that of Matt Carter, caught by Luke Wood off the bowling of Lamb without scoring. 171 for 9.
He's had a good day, hasn't he, Daniel Lamb? 3rd wicket for him now. 3 for 22.
Jake Ball sprinting out to the middle. He's using this as a little bit of a warm-up, no doubt, for his bowling spell. He's absolutely sprinted out there, Jake, who is arriving at the crease for the first time this T20 Blast campaign. Missed the first 2 matches as played in the last 3. 1 ball left. 171 for 9. Harrison on strike, so he's not even, unless it's a no ball or a wide, he's not even going to get a bat, Jake. Just got to do some running, and probably have to try and run 2 here. It's out to Luke Wood again. They will try and run 2. In comes the throw, and Dane Vilas has run Calvin Harrison out by a country mile. So Notts finish up 172 all out. Jake Ball not out, naught, but Calvin Harrison running back for a second is run out for 7. Good work, Lancashire. Notts all out for 172. Fancy it's just a little under par. Notts are going to have to bowl well.
Well, they're trying to come back for the second, obviously. Nothing to lose by trying to come back for the second with that first run already guaranteed. But yeah, 172 all out. I think he's still decent runs on the board. Be interested to see how Notts go about it with the ball. Pace off, you would suspect, is the key. Spinners for the Outlaws could have a big part to play in it. But a good night, or a good afternoon for Danny Lamb. He's had a good day. 3 for 23, I think, is what he's finished on from his 4 overs. Lancashire make their way off. 172 all out, the Notts Outlaws, with Alex Hales on 30, making 33, Tom Moores making 48, Ben Duckett 35. And then 2 wickets for Hartley, 1 for Croft, 2 for Wood, 3 for Lamb, 1 for Parkinson, but certainly Lamb 4 overs, 3 for 23. The pick of the bowlers for Lancashire Lightning. Hartley's 4 overs, 2 for 25, well worth a mention because 2 of them came bowling in the power play. It's a good afternoon from the slow left-arm spinner. But the card dominated really, Dave, by Moores' 48 and Hales and Duckett as well.
Yeah, again, it's a case of what might have been, I think, for Alex Hales, and that one over from Stephen Croft, which he took 21 from 5-4s and then walked a single, didn't he, to get down to the other end. So we've reached the interval, 172 all out. That was pretty disastrous final over for Notts, really. 3 for 3 the final over.
Will it be enough? We'll find out soon enough.
Well, we thought we might get some entertainment in the Vitality Blast this afternoon, and that certainly seems to be the case at the midway point. 172 all-out Nottinghamshire Outlaws after winning the toss and electing to bat. Great effort that by Lancashire, taking wickets at critical times, including 3 wickets for Danny Lamb. How crucial may those prove to be? We'll look back on the highlights of the Notts innings in just a moment and have a chat with the former Lancashire wicketkeeper Warren Hegg. But if I just draw your attention to the front of C stand, you can pick out Lanky. He's the tallest person in the ground. Can't hide him anywhere. A prize winner. Our junior member prize winner for today is Georgina Truebody. Congratulations, Georgina. She wins a signed mini bat, signed by Matt Parkinson, and most importantly of all, a hairy headband that is being presented to her by Lanky down in front of C stand right now. Congratulations again then to Georgina, our junior member prize winner for today. The Lancashire response not too far away. They will be chasing 173 to make it 3 wins from 3 in the North Group of the Vitality Blast here at Emirates Old Trafford this season. Let's remind ourselves though of how Notts got on batting first. So that the pick of the action from Nottinghamshire's 172 all out. The former Lancashire wicket-keeper Warren Hagar gets right down by the boundary rope. I'm going to fall over this if I'm not careful. Warren, what do you assess there from the Lancashire bowling performance? Wickets at crucial times, I would suggest.
Crucial times, Steve, yeah. And what, 172 off the 20 overs, 4 knots. Slightly above historic par here at Emirates, Old Trafford. So I think the Lancashire players will be extremely happy with that. You look at their top order, Hales, Duckett, Clark in particular, all getting starts and not going on.
Yeah, how crucial might that be? 4 batsmen getting starts, but none getting to 50.
Absolutely, and I think when we reverse that now and Lancashire come out to bat, head coach Glenn Chappell, we wanted one of his top 4 to bat the majority of this innings, knock the majority of these runs off, make it easy for the batsmen that come in and are batting around him, and hopefully that's a score that's well within our reach.
Warren, thanks ever so much. More from you at the close of play. Let's hope that we are talking about a Lancashire victory, but I suspect it's going to be tight and tense. So here we go then. Please welcome back our umpires, Neil Mallender and Neil Pratt. Led by their captain, Stephen Mullaney. Please welcome back the Nottinghamshire Outlaws. And here we go, opening the batting, opening the run chase for the Lancashire Lightning, Keaton Jennings and Finn Allen. Oh, no worries, am I seeing it at the end? I can't remember. I don't know. I think so, yeah.
So, will it be enough? We'll see what Lancashire Lightning can do with the bat. Wondered who would open the batting. Of course, not Liam Livingstone, he's with England. Keaton Jennings and Finn Allen, the opening pair for Lancashire Lightning. Expecting Davis then to come in at number 3. Has opened the batting quite a bit for Lancashire Lightning in the T20 Blast, Alex Davis, but been at number 3 so far in the competition this year. We'll see Samit Patel for the Notts Outlaws. He's on strike first up. Keaton Jennings, there he is, scratching around in his crease, taking guard. Good to see Keaton back in the side, his first T20 game of the season. Been fetching and carrying the drinks on and off the last, well, for the opening group games. On 12th man duties. But he's facing his first ball in T20 cricket of the year. And Patel has got himself a long on and a deep mid-wicket. Loads of yellow shirts guarding that offside field inside the ring, and Keaton Jennings is up and running straight away. A little push away into the offside, and up comes Ben Duckett to complete the fielding. So 1 without loss. Target of 173 to win the game. Finn Allen now on guard. Taking guard rather. What's he got so far this season? Top score of 73 not out from his 137 runs. The New Zealander is onto that front foot and pushing the ball back down the pitch. Gathered by Samit Patel off his own bowling, and there's no run. Let's see spin from both ends in the power play. Be interesting to see if Notts do that actually. It'll push away into the offside by Finn Allen. He wants a single. Gets one. He moves up to 1. Score moves on to 2 without loss. I wouldn't be too surprised, of course, it's a ground that Peter Moores, Notts Outlaws head coach, knows extremely well, as of course as the Notts skipper Stephen Mullaney. I wonder whether they might go with spin from both ends to begin with. We'll find out soon enough. As a little nudge away through mid-wicket by Keaton Jennings. Up comes Ben Duckett to field.
I think we'll see a Matt Carter over certainly during the power play overs. I don't think we'll see Calvin Harrison until there's a little bit of protection out there.
Carter going down at short third man inside the circle. 2 balls left of the first over. Patel fizzes one in, and it's chipped up to mid-off. For second, Stephen Mullaney, who's lurking at short extra cover, thought he was in business there, but it went up and above his right shoulder, up towards the man inside the circle. Final ball of the over coming up, the first one. This is forced along the ground through mid-on for a single. Alex Hales scoops up the ball in front of the point. Little flex of the elbow from Hales as he sent the throw in. That's the end of the first over. 4 runs off it. Keaton Jennings and Finn Allen punch gloves. They've both got 2 runs each. Jennings 2, Allen 2, 1 over gone, 4 without loss. Target of 173 to win.
Yeah, first viewing of Finn Allen created a little bit of an impression, hasn't he? Down in New Zealand, strike rate of 178 in T20 cricket. That's not too shabby, is it? 3 appearances for New Zealand back in March against Bangladesh. So we are going to have spin at both ends, and it is going to be Matt Carter. So not mirroring what Dane Vilas did earlier. Carter to bowl to the right-handed Allen. This was a leg side-ish delivery from Carter, helped away for a single. 5 without loss. I do love games where there is a sharp contrast in the colours. It's the same with football or any sport, Scott. I don't know if you're the same. You know, some people sort of, it doesn't matter to them what the colours are, and obviously we watch most of our cricket where they're all wearing whites, but in this particular instance, all red against green and gold, vibrant colours, and I just think it gives off an aura of being a better spectacle. It's the same with football matches. If you get a black and white versus a white and dark blue or something, I don't know, it just seems to be a drab old game. Anyhow, single taken here round the corner. You don't follow me?
No, I do completely, and it makes a nice change because so many teams have kind of dark.
There's lots of yellow and blue, yellows and blues and
blacks and stuff like that.
All blues, yeah.
That's quite nice to have a contrast.
Yeah, nice vibrancy. Here's Carter bowling again to the right-handed Allen. He's slapped this to Hales at mid-on. There's no run.
However, clearly me and you didn't get the memo. We're both in green, aren't we? There's no contrast in the commentary box. We're both in green.
Lucky Sunday green for the Outlaws. Carter bowls. This will be pulled onto the leg side, out to duck it. And just a steady, quiet start here. I wonder if there's been a little bit of a chat in the Lancashire Lightning dressing room here. No need to go helter-skelter here. Wickets in the second half of the innings might well be the way. This one's off the outside edge. Genuine turn. Oh, the wildest of wild throws. Crikey, who's that? That's Sol Buddinger. He's given Lancashire a run there. He's only about 20 yards, if that, away from Tom Moores, and he's fizzed it over his head, and they take a single. 8 without loss. Final ball of the second over. Tidy one so far from Carter. Spoilt by that. This one's pulled out onto the leg side. Might get 2 here. Duckett's quickly to it. In comes the throw, and the ball just wouldn't quite pick up any speed from the bounce from the players in the deep. They're so used, aren't they, to bouncing it in, and this one was thrown in quickly by Duckett. Halfway down, it looked as if the batsman might struggle, Keaton Jennings, but as it pitched, it certainly lost a lot of its pace, and Jennings was able to get home. 2 overs have gone, 10 without loss, 6 from Matt Carter's first over.
Elsewhere in the blast, Durham 185 for 4 from 20 overs. Birmingham Bears then need 186 to win. They're 24 without loss after 3. Leicestershire Foxes 200 for 2 from 20. Blimey, who's got runs there?
Mr. Inglis, and he's a new one on me. We've not played Leicestershire yet, and I don't know Mr. Inglis. Certainly made his mark.
He certainly has. He's Australian who had a good big bash with the Perth Scorchers. He's had 103 from 62 balls.
Opened the batting there with Liam Livingstone, didn't he?
He did, yeah. So the Foxes 200 for 2 from 20. There is Jake Ball into the attack. Keaton Jennings just pushing it into the offside, but for no run. So that's a mammoth total for Northants to chase. And they've lost a wicket after 3 overs, 13 for 1. The Steelbacks against the Foxes, and the other game taking place in this group is Yorkshire Vikings against Derbyshire Falcons. Yorkshire 174 for 6 from 20 overs. Joe Root making 49. Derbyshire 12 for 1 in reply after 3. Ball to Jennings. Trying to steer it into the onside. It just deflects off his thigh pad, I think. It is. It's a leg bye.
That Durham game you mentioned there, they've been hit by a number of medical issues, haven't they? The second team are all in isolation, and they picked up 1 or 2 injuries. Paul Coughlin pulled a hamstring when we played them in midweek, and they've signed Kyle Kurtzer, who used to play for them a million years ago, on a 2-match loan, and also a Scottish fast bowler, Ali Evans, who had a spell for Derbyshire a while back, just so they can field 11.
Ball comes into Finn Allen, little nudge off his hip in towards the leg side for a single. Moves to 7-12 without loss. And they've got Ben Stokes playing for him in this game.
But Stokes is playing against Brathwaite, incidentally.
He is, yeah. And Brathwaite got him.
Did he indeed?
He did. Caught Burgess ball Brathwaite for 29, Ben Stokes.
I don't think Brathwaite should be allowed to play, actually, because they've registered a fellow called Carlos Brathwaite, and yet he goes out on the field with Ricky on the back of his shirt. I'm against that. I don't think he should allow that.
His ball to Jennings. Step towards the bowler, and he bangs it in short, and Jennings just ducks underneath it and through to the keeper. There's no run.
It was lively, wasn't it?
It was. Jennings with a little step towards him. Just a pace or 2 down the pitch, and then ball said, well, I'm not having that. That's banged in. A little quicker, a little shorter.
Not started the programme of matches with Dane Patterson at number 11, and played a couple of games now. Jake's in.
Oh. It's a beautiful lofted drive back over the bowler's head for 6. Terrific shot from Keaton Jennings. Stand there and admire that one. That was a belter from Jennings. Terrific lofted drive. Held the pose all the way for 6.
Yeah, stand and admire it, or as Viv Richards reputedly used to say, go and fetch it.
That's an outstanding shot from Keaton Jennings. He enjoyed that, didn't he? Just held the pose. Ball to Jennings. Trying to tickle it down towards third man, but sent back, and had to be quick to get back as well. Pick up, and the throw came in from Sol Bunninger, but wanted a run there. There never really was one. Good fielding by Knotts inside the circle. End of the over, 3 gone. 18 without loss.
Yeah, 18 from 18 balls, despite the 6. I don't think Knotts will be too unhappy at the start that Lancashire have made. Of course, they desperately need wickets. They want wickets in the power play, but second best prize, of course, is to keep Lancashire just slightly behind the run rate, or massively behind the run rate if they can. Matt Carter's going to get another over, so this will be the 3rd over out of 4 of spin. Carter's first one went for 6. This one slammed down the ground towards us, and we'll double that with Finn Allen getting his first maximum of the afternoon. Lovely looking shot, straight as a die. Matt Carter knew instantly he was already turning before the ball was halfway towards its final destination. 24 without loss. Lots with a ring of 5 on the offside. Allen's not looking for singles on the offside. He slammed this one wide of Hales inside the circle at mid-on and gets a boundary this time. So 10 from 2, and this is the over that Lancashire have decided to cut loose. And Finn Allen, quick as a flash, has added 10 runs, and it's gone from 18 without loss to 28 without loss, and Matt Carter's under pressure. Next ball sees the Kiwi just run it along the ground to Alex Hales, and says now over to you, Keaton. 29 without loss. Used to seeing Alex Davis up the top of the order, but he's been coming in at 3, hasn't he? Behind Allen and Liam Livingston, and Joss Butler making a very formidable top 4. Keaton Jennings on strike. He's lifted that one down the ground, and this will clear Stephen Mullaney. It's disappeared down below. Can't quite see because of the TV gantry, but they're going to come back for 3. That's good running as well, and this is a very strong over for Lancashire Lightning in their pursuit for a victory target of 173. They've already got 32 on the board.
He likes that shot, doesn't he, Keaton Jennings? Second time he's played it, that lofted drive.
Here's Carter bowling, and Allen clips it to Hales, and he'll keep the strike. No, he won't. There's one ball left in the over. Carter's punishment in this over might not yet be over. 15 from 5 balls. Here he comes, the big tall Lincolnshire-born off-spinner. I think that lodged in the back of his pad, so it won't be called a wide, and it is the end of the over. So I guess all things being equal, 10 from the first 2, he came back fairly strongly in the second half of that over. 33 without loss. At the same stage, Alex Hales had just hit those 5-4s off Stephen Croft, so Notts were 44 for 1, but Lancashire crucially still all 10 wickets to play with. 33 after 4.
Yeah, it can sum up T20 cricket quite a bit, that over, can't it? As you say, 10 off the first 2 balls and then 5 off the following 4. So he did come back well. First half emphatically belonged to the batsman. The bowler doing well to try and muscle his way back into it, and the back end of the over.
Now Notts need Luke Fletcher, that's been bowling in red ball, rather than the one that disappeared for 49 in 3 overs on Friday evening against Derbyshire. He's going to bowl the 5th over here, and he was given a bit of tap the other night.
Here he comes into Finn Allen. That's pulled behind square for 6. Onto that in a flash. Finn Allen rocking onto the back foot and then pulling it behind square leg. And the score moves on to 39 without loss.
That's not the sort of encouragement Fletcher would have been looking for, is it? As in the previous over, Finn Allen starts an over with a maximum. That Carter was able to pull back his over. See what Fletcher can do.
Ducking for cover in the stands. Fletcher balls to Allen. Trying to whip it away into the onside. The ball just deflects out into the offside. He'd no idea, Finn Allen, where the ball had gone to, but Keaton Jennings has spotted it. And they called him through for was a leg by in the end. 40 without loss. As Finn Allen reverses that little pull shot that we saw him hit so effectively for 6 just a couple of deliveries ago. Luke Fletcher on the Jimmy Anderson end, with the tall left-hander Keaton Jennings on strike. Step to the leg side, Jennings way to the leg side and just eased off his hip down to fine leg, just for 1.
Buttinger doing the fielding did well there to restrict them to just that single.
41 without loss. We're halfway into the 5th over. Luke Fletcher bowling for the Outlaws. We've got Finn Allen and Keaton Jennings, the opening pair for Lancashire Lightning. 173 is the target for the home side. Finn Allen back on strike, waits for Fletcher, balls. That's flicked away off the pads. Clip away down towards Jake Ball at deep backwards square leg. A single for Finn Allen takes him to 26, 42 without loss.
Fletcher to bowl to Jennings again. He bears him no ill will or no personal malice, Keaton Jennings, but it was Jennings that broke Fletcher's heart back in 2017 when he was, well, he's on 92. If ever you're going to get a nailed-on century, it was then, because Lancashire were just going through the bowlers, just trying to get through to a second near ball, and Keaton Jennings ran him out on 92.
Fletcher to Jennings, slow ball, which Jennings just paddles away into the onside. These slower, shorter deliveries we see from time to time, and that was kind of Jennings just waiting for it in the crease and then just steering it out to mid-wicket for a single. 43 without loss. And how close has he been since?
No, that's it.
That's it.
He's twice had 92s, but that second time it was
agony.
It was, as I say, because Durham had, they hadn't had a wicket for hours and were just desperate. It was about the 73rd or 74th over of the innings, and he was just taking runs here, there, and everywhere. And it was nailed on, and then James Patterson hit it out, and Keaton stopped it and threw back to the other end.
Fletcher balls to Allen, just squirts it out into the onside. A cheeky little single that, wasn't it? Just flicked away towards mid-wicket. Picked up by Calvin Harrison. He's kept the strike as well, Finn Allen. 26 from 16 balls. Keaton Jennings 15 from 13 balls faced. 5 overs gone. 44 without loss. Lancashire Lightning need a further 129 to win from 90 balls.
And again, you say, right, 11 from that over, but again, Fletcher dragged it back because there was 6 from the first ball. So that's okay. One of them was a leg by, so Fletcher's figures 1 over none for 10. Jake Ball to bowl the final over of the power play. Notts were 55 for 3 at the end of 6 overs. Lancashire 44 without loss. Jake Ball to bowl to Finn Allen, who's on 27 from 17. The force is with him. There's Ball to Finn. Chips to Finn, to Allen. This is chipped up to Hales at mid-on. They take a single. 45 without loss.
It's a very good Star Wars reference, is that, Dave? Very good. But I'm assuming it was deliberate.
Crowd were just getting a little lively, weren't they, with a few chants of Lancashire. You can see that long-necked giraffe at the far end watching on, and this is heaved away. That probably should be an 8. It's gone sailing, and again it's been caught in the crowd. Is it the same fella? I'm not sure. Big 6 away by Keaton Jennings into the temporary permanent stand, and the 50 comes up for the Lightning.
Great catch. Whoever topped that in the stand. Big hit from Jennings. Safe pair of hands in that temporary stand and not put anything down so far today. Look at that, and I think you're right. Went to the same group of lads, didn't it? Great catch, well done. Have a drinking celebration.
So 51 without loss after 5.2 overs. So Notts were 55 for 3 at the end of 6. They need a wicket. They've got to halt the momentum, and they need to follow that wicket with probably 4 more fairly quickly. Next ball driven down the ground for 4. Notts just can't wait to get out of these power play overs and get some protection for the bowlers out on the rope. Another over begins 6-4.
Well, he's not played a T20 game so far this season, Keaton Jennings. This is his first T20 match. So he's not played a T20 match since finals day back in, whenever it was, September of last year, wasn't it? October. We went into October for finals day, where it looks in good touch.
55 on the board. Jake Ball bowls. Keaton Jennings pulls this to mid-wicket. He'll only get a single. Calvin Harrison doing the fielding. Might just be getting his arm loose, the young leggy. So too Stephen Mullaney. Doesn't look like the sort of track, though, that he's just going to stop and pop and help Stephen Mullaney, does it? Looks a road, in truth, from here. 56 without loss. Commit to the shot and may get full reward for it. Ball in again. This is glove down the leg side, past the diving moors and away towards the pavilion boards for 4 runs. Perhaps a little bit of fortune, perhaps you make your own fortune, but a boundary to Finn Allen, and Lancashire onto 60. Another expensive over here, and Notts are going to have to come from behind if they are to continue their winning sequence. 3 straight victories going into this game. Ground again bathed in sunshine. Here's Jake Ball running away from us past umpire Malinder. Bowls to Finn Allen again down the leg side and again past Moores. This was I think a little bit of bat, maybe a little bit of glove. It certainly wasn't as fine as the previous one, but that's a great way to end the over. 20 came from it, 64 without loss, and Lancashire Lightning are 9 runs ahead of where Notts were at the same time, and they're 3 wickets better off.
Yeah, 55 for 3. Notts Outlaws after 6, 64 without loss. Lancashire Lightning couple of high-scoring runs off the gloves there, I think, of Finn Allen on both occasions. Agonising for the keeper. Tom Moore just couldn't get a hold of both of them. As Dave said, the previous one was a little, the last one was a little finer. The outcome is still the same. Allen for 36. Jennings on 26. Back to Samit Patel. Samit from the Jimmy Anderson end, 1 over for 4. He bowled the first over of the innings. And Stephen Mullaney turns to Samit Patel, searching for a breakthrough. Good power play this for Lancashire Lightning. Terrific power play. 64 on the board, 6 from the 6 overs, all wickets intact. Jennings on strike. Patel balls to Keaton Jennings, who just to shovel it away, I think, through the onside, but a play and a miss. Taken by Tom Moore, clips off the bails. And there is no run. 26 from 17 balls, 1 4 and 2 sixes for Keaton Jennings. One of which was just the most glorious lofted drive back over the bowler's head. It'll skip towards Patel and punches through straight mid-off for a single. Moves up to 27 not out, 65 without loss.
Seen off quite cheaply this afternoon, Samit Patel. Made just 12, hit a 6 away. He wondered if he was going to again make an impact in those middle overs, but not to be. So will he be able to shine with the ball? He usually makes a contribution one way or another.
Well, he's in to Finn Allen. Flicks it up towards mid-on. Alex Hales picks up the ball. Allen takes a single. Moves on to 37. Lancashire Lightning 66 without loss. So Jennings back on strike. It's Patel again with the sun shining. Runs in across the umpire. Balls cut. One bounce and stops inside the circle by Budinger. And there's no run. There's a long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square, long off and deep point. Patel to Jennings. Plenty of bottom hand on this as he works it past the dive of Patel, and Carter comes up to field. At the end of the over? No, one left.
They've learnt a little bit from what Lancashire did there. Those 3 on the leg side to the left-hander, they were all probably 8 or 10 yards in from the rope, weren't they? Just trying to stop a 2.
This is the final ball of the 7th. Finn Allen back on strike. Slapped back down the pitch, one bounce, picked up by Patel, well that's okay. A bit of an over of calm for the Outlaws, 3 off it, 7 gone, 67 without loss. Jennings 28, Allen on 37. Good stuff from Samit Patel.
Yeah, 2 overs, none for 7. Samit bowled the first over of the innings for 4, that one going for just 3 runs. He'll be a banker to bowl all 4, I'm sure. Now Stephen Mullaney. This was the Notts format for many years. Get out the power play overs and then let Patel and Mullaney do their stuff.
It's Mullaney then from the Brian Statham end. Keaton Jennings having a little peer over his shoulder. Looking leg side. Mullaney bouncing in. It's met by Jennings and punched down the ground for a single. Alex Hales fields for Lancashire Lightning. Jennings moves up to 29 not out. So into the 8th. Live from Emirates Old Trafford. The Vitality Blast fixture between Lancashire Lightning and the Notts Outlaws. Nice bright sunny Sunday afternoon. Lancashire chasing 173 to win. Mullaney over the wicket. Nudged into the onside. Samit Patel fields and there's no run. So the Outlaws looking for Mullaney and Patel, perhaps in tandem here. Try and slow things down. After a bright start with the bat in the power play. Oh, his runs down towards the boundary. I'm not sure whether buys, leg buys or genuine runs. Buys is the answer. Nothing on it. Finn Allen kind of danced across his stumps, down on one knee, trying to slog sweep it through the onside. In the end, it missed a whole lot. Down to the boundary in front of the pavilion. 4 buys. 72 without loss. Mullaney, the Outlaws skipper, over the wicket. Off the back foot goes Finn Allen. Strikes it firmly down the ground. Alex Hales again fields. And Allen gets 1. He moves to 38. So exactly 100 required for Lancashire Lightning. 74 balls to get them. All wickets intact. Mullaney to Jennings, flicked off the pads. Up towards Calvin Harrison at deep mid-wicket. Jennings takes a run, takes him to 30. 74 without loss. This is the final ball of the 8th over, the first for Stephen Mullaney, gone for just the 3 so far. It's thumped towards Jake Ball at long on for 1 run. Finn Allen keeps the strike as well, so that completes the 8th over. 75 without loss, 8 gone. Allen 39, Jennings 30. And the 2 wearing the coats in the stand, but I suppose if you're in the shade, it might be a little bit of a chilly breeze, but great to see plenty of kids in the ground as well. Perfect, isn't it, on a Sunday afternoon? Bring the kids and get the families to watch some T20 cricket.
Very much so. Lovely to see them here. Big moment for another youngster, though he is 23, Calvin Harrison, the leg spinner, going to bowl at Old Trafford for the first time. Could be a little bit of a daunting test for a lesser being, but he's a confident young man, and I'm sure he'll be looking forward to the opportunity here to show what he can do in front of a sizable crowd.
Yeah, it's a great chance for him, isn't it? Yeah. Two well-set batsmen, so a really good challenge for him.
75 without loss after 8 overs. Really good start for Lancashire Lightning. Here's Harrison, leg spinner bowls. Clearly the first time that either Finn Allen or Keaton Jennings will have had a look at Calvin Harrison. The first ball just carefully watched and clipped down the ground for a single.
Yeah, it's good to see these new names, isn't it? It's always exciting when you're seeing a cricketer for the first time, either with the bat or with the ball. So he's 23 years of age.
Bright lad, Oxford University student.
Oh,
Keaton Jennings eases this one into the offside. 2 singles from 2 balls. Notts will happily take that for a while. They do need wickets, desperately need wickets. Lancashire need less than 100. In very good order at the moment. 77 without loss. Next ball is missed by both the batsman and Tom Moores. It's going to be a bye. Finn Allen throwing the kitchen sink at that one, trying to heave it away on the leg side, missed it and went under Tom Moore's gloves, and they scampered through for a bye. 78 without loss off 9 overs.
Bit of bounce there did for Allen, perhaps?
I think it was probably bounce more than turn, and this one's beaten the diving Buddinger. Reverse sweep for Keaton Jennings, and he gets 4 runs. Nice looking shot. There's more than one way to skin a cat, as the old saying goes. Not that you want to dwell on it for too long, but if you can't get it away on the leg side as a left-hander, switch and play it as a right-hander.
It's always a cat that gets skinned, isn't it?
Poor old cat.
In that analogy.
Not enough room to swing a cat.
It's always the cat that gets it.
Yeah, push. Right now there's a giraffe at the far end that wants skinning because he's leading the Lanky Lanky chorus. Next one's clipped away on the leg side. What's his name? Is he Lanky?
Lanky the giraffe, front of the hotel.
Yeah. He's a little bit like Nuts the squirrel, though. Tends not to go so well in the old mascot race.
Oh, no, he's hopeless in that.
Yeah, so is Nuts the squirrel. Has great big boots on, much like Lanky's got on at the moment. You can't complete an obstacle course, can you, like that? As Finn Allen plays it to backward point. I'd have him in brand new, spanking new trainers. Single taken. In fact, they'd run a bit quicker if they took the costume off. Nobody's ever figured that out, have they? 84 without loss after 9. It's like the London Marathon. I back the Pink Panther every year, but it never wins.
to 9 gone, 84 without loss in the sunshine at Emirates Old Trafford.
Suddenly got blustery in here, which is quite remarkable because the windows won't open. Is it the draft coming in from the corridor?
Yeah, but the windows open at the top of the commentary box.
Oh yeah.
It's quite a breezy old day now. Nice and bright and sunny. Mullaney will bowl his second over. Finn Allen on strike. 41 from 29 balls faced. 3 4s, 2 6s. What can this man do? The Notts Outlaws skipper. Ball back in his hand. And again to Allen, who shuffles back and drives down the ground. And drives for 4, though it's cut off just down below as Jake Ball. Excellent work. Throw comes in from Alex Hales, but good work down in the boundary in front of the player and media centre. Ball and a lot of ground to make up. A little dart across here, slides in, pushes the ball away. Nice piece of work. 86 without loss. Clubbed away through mid-wicket and Ball again on the charge. And this time he gets to it again. One-handed pickup. Again, they come back for 2.
I think it was Paul Allott in a TV commentary who first said that Stephen Mullaney bowls dibbly-dobblies, and when he was asked what he made of that comment, Stephen Mullaney said, well, I've got to agree, that's what I bowl, dibbly-dobblies. So he's been the dibbly-dobbly bowler ever since.
Oh, here he is, dibbling and dobbling again to Allen, who's off the back foot and pushing away to wide, long off for a single. Does a good job, doesn't he?
Yeah.
With the bat and the ball. Great skipper, great personality. Of course, no Dan Christian for Notts, is it?
That's a big blow. Or Imad Wasim, who would have been around, but is away with Karachi Kings in the Pakistan Super League.
Jennings off the pads, just flicked away through mid-wicket. That quite a late call that Dan Christian in the end didn't make it.
Yeah. Well, it was the week of the first game.
Right. Okay.
But he was here. He'd played a couple of warm-up games for the second 11, although it was, quite a strong second 11. Hales and Jake Ball and what have you. And then he was selected for the Australia tour of the West Indies. A recall at the age of 38.
Playing over the wicket bowling. Shuffle off the back foot, striking into the offside. Allen gets through for 1. Moves to 47 not out. 91 without loss. 1 ball left of the 10th. And then at the halfway stage of the run chase, 82 required at the minute, 61 balls left. Mullaney to complete the over balls, driven towards long off where Jake Ball fields. Jennings keeps the strike. There we go, 10 overs gone, so halfway into the Lancashire Lightning reply. 60 balls left, 81 required. 92 without loss. Jennings 38, Allen 47.
I think when the season started, if you'd said, right, what's going to be the Notts T20 side for certainly the start of the group, Dan Christian had already committed to come and be captain. Imad Wasim we saw at Trent Bridge for all the early games, bowling in the lunch and tea intervals out there, so he was in the country and ready. And then obviously they rescheduled the remainder of the Pakistan Super League. Of course, Harry Gurney, and then he's had to retire. Here's Calvin Harrison bowling to Keaton Jennings, who drops this on the leg side. Just changed the pitch slightly because I thought they were going to come back for a risky 2, but they didn't. So Notts have been forced to look in different directions for captains and middle order batsmen and death bowlers and all sorts of key positions. They've had to redistribute their wealth. Finn Allen punches this down the ground for a single. 94 without loss. Did say that I thought 180 was, well, at worst, or at best par, at worst probably 10 or 15 short. Reverse sweep here has been hit straight to Budinger, and there's no run. Harrison in again, bowls. Keaton Jennings got hold of this one, he's hit it down the ground, and that might go all the way for 6. Touch and go, yes, it's gone for 6. Fabulous shot, and that brings the 100 up in the 11th over. Lovely clean stroke from Keaton Jennings. Just cleared the rope, just in front of the pavilion.
Century partnership for the first wicket between Keaton Jennings and Finn Allen.
Just looking, the record opening partnership for Lancashire against Notts, 119, so that's very much within reach as this one is fired down the leg side. 101. 119, Steve Moore and Tom Smith at Trent Bridge in 2012. Record opening partnership for Lancashire against Notts. Next one's clipped by Jennings to mid-on. They take an easy single. 102 without loss. 173 is the magic number, so another 71. And they've got 9 overs and 1 ball. If they don't get home from here, there might be a little bit of an inquest as Harrison bowls and hit back by Finn Allen, fielded by Harrison. 102 without loss after 11.
Yes, I would agree. It would be as confident as you can be in T20 cricket with 54 balls left. They will feel as though they should get these runs, but we see so many times things can change quickly. Change quickly in an over, can't they? An over 2 and the whole thing can swing in one direction and go completely the other direction. So a way to go, but both these batsmen eyeing up half centuries as well. 46 to Jennings, 48 to Allen.
Just to mark your card, at short fine leg, Peter Trigo's on the field, number 77. Luke Fletcher's just popped off, presumably for a comfort break, so Trigo on inside the discs.
See Carter coming back into the attack, 2 overs for 21 for Carter. Jennings off the back foot, little wristy flick away through mid-wicket just for 1 run. 47 to him now, 103 without loss.
One of these has got to see the job through now, hasn't they? They can't both afford to get out. Obviously, ideally, they both want to stay there, but having really got themselves into this position, one of them's got to see the job through.
Allen comes down the pitch, kicks it on, goes big, ball underneath it, but watching it crash over the boundary for 6. What a way to reach a half century. His second for Lancashire Lightning. Finn Allen. It'll skip down the pitch and heaves it over wide long on. Ball watching it drop into the stand. Spectators ducking for cover. Finn Allen reaches 50 with a big hit for 6. 54 off 36 balls. 3 4s and 3 6s. 109 without loss. Carter in. Muscled away through mid-wicket. Duckett will chase after it and he'll get across the ground quickly to push the ball away, and the throw comes in. Allen comes back for a second.
Looking at the flags on top of the hotel and the back of the pavilion, whatever, I think he was hitting that into the wind actually, and when he was up there for just a second, you were quite right. You were quickly alerted to the fact Jake Ball was down here, and he was interested for a second.
He flicked away towards short fine leg where it's picked up, but throw comes in from Samit Patel, but they've got through for 1. Finn Allen moves up to 57, 112 without loss. Brings Jennings back on strike.
Went very high, didn't it? You just wondered if it was going to be buffeted by that strong breeze.
Carter to Jennings, turns it off his pads down to short fine leg for a single. 48 to Keaton Jennings, 113 without loss.
Yeah, that is Trigo.
Final ball of the 12th over coming up. Finn Allen whipping the ball along the ground through square leg, and pinches the strike as well. So 58 not out, Finn Allen. Keaton Jennings 48 not out, and Lancashire Lightning 114 without loss. 12 overs gone, with the flags billowing in the breeze on the roof of the pavilion. The Union Jack flag, a little flutter with a bright blue sky behind it. Old Trafford bathed in sunshine, but even with that breeze, the ball didn't hold in the air, and Finn Allen was able to reach his 50 with that big hit for 6.
Samit Patel to start the 13th over. 2 overs, none for 7 for Patel. This one's hit in the air, but safely down the ground to wide-ish mid-off. Fletcher's back on the field. Trigo's gone back over the other side of the boundary rope for the time being. 115 on the board, and Keaton Jennings now on strike on 48 from 33 balls. 2 4s and 3 6s. Both batsmen have hit 3 6s. Here's Patel into Jennings, just pushing his way to 50 here. He's moved on to 49 with that single. Lancashire an absolute mile ahead seemingly, but in terms of runs, at the end of the last over they were only 4 ahead of where Notts were, but Notts of course had a disappointing finish, particularly the final over. This one's hit by Allen, straight down the ground, hitting in the V for another single. 117 with Outlaws.
With Lewis Parr's score, he's 96.
Right, so they're well ahead, Lancashire. If we get a torrential downpour, that's not going to happen. Patel bowls, Keaton Jennings gets his 50. Just runs it away behind square on the offside, and that's a very accomplished innings by Keaton Jennings, who must have been a little bit frustrated at having to sit and watch the last few matches. Good team man though. Of course, Keaton Jennings will have very much enjoyed Lancashire's performances, I'm sure, up to this point in the campaign, but eager to make his mark, and he's doing that here. This one has turned away from Finn Allen. Perhaps Samit a little fortunate that wasn't called as a wide, but the umpire just gave him the benefit of the doubt. 118 without loss. Patel in again, bowls, hit away in the air, down the ground, and that's been caught. That is a really, really good catch in the deep. Terrific catch, and Finn Allen has to go. And that's a fabulous catch down there in the deep. I think it's Joe Clark who's gone underneath it. Really good catch, running around the boundary to his left, and dives to the ground and scoops it up. Finn Allen very, very unhappy, but I'm sure the reception from the crowd will cheer him up. 118 for 1.
118 for 1, Lancashire Lightning. 173 is the target for victory. Just seen the first wicket. Finn Allen out for 60, ending a terrific partnership worth 118 runs for the opening wicket. Keaton Jennings is 50 not out from 35 balls, and Alex Davis, the new batsman. The Notts Outlaws made 172 all out. 3 wickets for Daniel Lamb, a couple for Luke Wood, a couple for Tom Hartley as well. But Lancashire have made an excellent start to the run chase. They need a further 55 off 42 balls at 118 for 1.
So Stephen Moore and Tom Smith can stay in the record books a little longer. 118, the wicket went down there, their highest partnership for the opening wicket for Lancashire. 119 survives. Here's Mullaney into the left-hander Jennings, who takes the score on to 119 now, pushing it down below us here to Jake Ball. I think is this your end?
Well, you started, you might as well finish.
Has that ever been said before?
Yeah.
I don't know that one. 119 for 1. Lovely afternoon in the northwest. Mullaney just slowing things up a little bit here, making Alex Davis wait. Just getting Matt Carter into the right position at short fine. Davis stands tall and pushes the ball out onto the offside, straight to Budinger. And there's no run there.
Need a couple more here, don't they, Notts, just for kind of their own self-belief. Try and follow one up with another one and another one. Keep the pressure on, see if they can try and change the momentum a little bit.
Another 6 or 7.
Aye.
Laney bowls and again clipped on the leg side. Well done, Samit Patel.
Good start.
Throwing everything at that one for the cause. Gets up and, well, he's got those elastic supports on each elbow there, Samit Patel. And I wonder if he's got one on his left knee, because he's got up rubbing that. 2 dots to Davis. In comes Mullaney to bowl to him, and this one scooped up in the air and caught one-handed by Mullaney. Sensational catch. Caught and bowled. Alex Davis looks ruefully at the outside edge of his bat, and he makes his way back to the dressing room, and one did bring another one. Caught and bowled. Stephen Mullaney doing his stuff.
Yeah, great grab. Seen a couple now, haven't we, today? Daniel Lamb's caught and ball was a brilliant piece of instinctive work off his own bowling. Mullaney doing really well to dart away to his left-hand side and plucking the ball from the air. Davis just squared up, leading edge, there it goes, looped up. What a take from Mullaney. Catches it and runs away as if he does it every day of the week. But they needed to make it 1 into 2 and 2 into 3. They've got to keep that going, the Outlaws. Lancashire skipper Dane Villas joining Keaton Jennings, 119 for 2.
Yeah, lovely afternoon. It's a bit blustery out there, but clearly not all the country is blessed with the same weather. Match abandoned without a ball bowled at Bristol, Gloucestershire and Hampshire in the South Group has been abandoned. The other game in the South Group we've not mentioned, absolute run fest at Canterbury, where Kent 236 for 3 from their 20 overs against Essex. I'll whisper it quietly in case Don Topley's listening, or whoever. It's a poor Essex side this season. Mullaney bowls. This one's clipped away behind square for a single. Dane Villas is up and running. In that Kent score, Daniel Bell-Drummond, a fine player, 88. Zach Crawley, also a fine player, 69. And Jack Leaning, another fine player, 42 not out. 236 for 3, Kent. That'll be too many for Essex. He says, probably, as Jennings pushes this one down the ground to ball. Good over from Mullaney. It was certainly one that Notts needed. 121 for 2 after 14, and at the same stage, if I've written it correctly, Notts were 121 for 4. So the comparison in runs is absolutely bang on, but don't at this stage, Notts fans, get your hopes up too high, because Notts had a dreadful finish. Final over was 3 for 3, but certainly an over they needed, or a couple of overs they needed. Wickets in the 13th over and the 14th over.
Calvin Harrison to come back in and bowl his 3rd over. 2 overs for 18 for Harrison. Keaton Jennings on 52. Spinning the ball from one hand to the other, and he's in and bowling to Jennings, who goes on the reverse. The ball just balloons up. Quickly onto that was Tom Moores, the keeper, and there's no run.
Picked up a couple of wickets. Harrison is he's had a bowl in 4 of the matches, just 2 wickets so far. 1 for 30 against Birmingham, 1 for 31 against Northants. Didn't bowl against Derbyshire the other night, that range shortened game. Mullaney just stuck with 5 principal bowlers. Doing the world of good to get a wicket or 2.
He's twirling his way back in, bringing Jennings forward, eased away into the onside. Duckett comes up quickly from deep mid-wicket. Good work that. Jennings kind of ran with the intent of coming back for a second, but Duckett onto it quickly. Just a 1 in the end.
Yeah, very good from Duckett. This was an over in the Notts innings where they scored 10, so chance perhaps just to ease ahead a little bit if they can keep Villas and Jennings quiet in this over.
Harrison to Villas. Flicks it down to short fine leg. Fletcher fields. Villas gets a run, so doubles his total, moves to 2, score to 123 for 2.
Single anywhere on the leg side. Singles won't win it for Lancashire, but as long as they just keep rotating the strike, they're going to do it.
Goes up and over extra cover this time. It's Keaton Jennings. 1 bounce out towards the boundary. Lovely shot. Gave himself some room, didn't he? Just a little step to the leg side. Steps to the leg side and then bang up and over the top of extra cover. 4 runs.
It's just the point I was trying to make somewhat clumsily. They can take whatever singles are given them, and then every now and again, if they do get the opportunity to find the ropes, Jennings is well set and he'll sure put it away.
57 now to Keaton Jennings. Oh, it's played back to the bowler, who gets a fingertip on that. Looking at his reaction, that must have been on the fall, not on the bounce.
I think it was.
And he was he got a fingertip to it, I think. Just in the end, tipped it over the bar. Looks like quite a tall lad.
Yeah. Couldn't have got much higher, could it?
That's off the back foot, cutting away through extra cover, where Duckett, as ever, patrolling in the deep for the Outlaws fields. End of the over. He's maybe a fingertip, an inch or two too short of being a wicket in that over for Calvin Harrison. 129 for 2 after 15. 5 overs remaining. Villas 3, Jennings on 58.
Yeah, needed to have been Matt Carter, really, who's a bit of a skyscraper. Going to be Mullaney to bowl his final over. 3 overs, 1 for 15 for Mullaney. Jennings on 58 from 41 balls. In fact, it's Villas on strike. He's on 3. Cuts this out into the offside. Single taken by the Lightning captain. 130 for 2. Knots 172 all out. There was a run out from the final ball of the innings, so they were all out. Mullaney now to Jennings, who's pulled this one away. Luke Fletcher's not going to get there, I don't think. Now it just falls 8 or 10 feet away from Fletcher, and they come back for a couple. Again, it was a slightly false shot. That's 2 heart in mouth moments for Keaton Jennings fans in the last minute or two. 132 for 2. Jennings 60 from 42 now. .41 required. Mullaney bowls, driven crisply. Lovely looking shot from Keaton Jennings. 133 for 2. For my money, might just have been involved with England for a little longer than he was. They jettisoned him a year and a half or so back. Always looked a fine player whenever I've seen him. Mullaney in again, bowls. Villas cuts it into the offside, calls his partner through for a quick single. 134 for 2.
Yes, he was involved in the England squad for the aborted trip to Sri Lanka at the start of last year, so didn't in the end travel later in the year.
2 balls left in the 16th. He's on strike now, drives into the offside again. Good work by Samit Patel. He's potentially saved 3 runs there. If that was through him, I don't think either Ball or Duckett would have been able to get round and cut it off. So good work from Patel, although they do take a single. 135 for 2. Mullaney to Dane Villas, who plays a reverse sweep. Fletcher's after it, won't get there. 4 runs. Useful runs. End of the over. 139 for 2. Whichever way you look at it, Lancashire are well, they're ahead on runs, they're ahead on Duckworth Lewis, they're ahead on number of wickets lost, and quite frankly, they are probably about 8 or 10 minutes away from picking up the 2 points for the win.
Not an enormous difference in terms of Duckworth Lewis past score, just to gives you a bit of an idea as to whereabouts the run chase is, but with the wickets in hand, as Dave mentioned, with the batsman well set in Keaton Jennings, captain there Dane Villas with him, looks like a run chase that Lancashire Lightning should be pretty confident of seeing through. 34 of 24 with 8 wickets in T20 cricket. It is relatively routine, but of course it can change. We'll keep saying that, but it's true in this format. Primary games do change so quickly. A nudge away into the onside by Keaton Jennings. Samit Patel coming back into the attack. What's he into now? Is his last over? It is. So he's picked up 1 for 11, Samit Patel, but into his 4th and final over. Jennings comes down the pitch and that's forced back towards him. Gathered by Patel off his own bowling. No run. Keaton Jennings waiting for Patel. Crashed away through extra cover for 4 runs. Just about got it past the man on the infield, inside the circle. Just gave himself some room with that shuffle to the leg side and then handsome looking cover drive. And Keaton Jennings to 66 not out, 47 balls face. That's his 4th 4. 143 for 2, 30 needed. 21 balls left. Patel to Jennings. Just get one this time. Again, Duckett's quick. Just great work for the Outlaws in the deep on that leg side boundary. Been there for most of the afternoon and most of the last hour or so. Ben Duckett. 144 for 2. It's a Villas on strike. He's not seen too much of it. 6 balls so far for the Lancashire captain. Patel into Villas. Goes off the back foot and chops it out through the offside. Joe Clark comes up from the long off boundary. Villas moves into double figures. He's up to 10. It's the final ball of the 17th over. 145 for 2. Patel's last ball of the day. It's a little clip by Keaton Jennings. Down to short fine leg where Carter fields. Patel's done. 4 overs, 1 for 18. He's done his bit for the Outlaws. 3 overs left. Will it be the Lancashire Lightning fans who are smiling at the end of the game? They're enjoying what they're seeing so far. Enjoying the afternoon at the cricket. And enjoying a bit of warm weather. And I'm sure admiring the work of Keaton Jennings. 27 required, 18 balls left. 146 for 2. Live from Emirates Old Trafford, the Vitality Blast fixture between the Notts Outlaws and the Lancashire Lightning. Keaton Jennings, he's the man of the moment for Lancashire. And 68 not out. Carter comes in and bowls to him. Paddling the ball down towards fine leg. Moves to 69 not out. Bit of a break for Lancashire Lightning after this game. Don't play again until next Friday. A trip to Northamptonshire, and then on Saturday the reverse fixture between these two sides at Trent Bridge. Home run for Villas here, just steered away through extra cover. So Lancashire Lightning will be hoping to go into a little break. A period of 4 days without any cricket. Hoping to do that on the back of a win. Jennings down the pitch. Jake Ball comes up from long off to complete the fielding. 70 not out, Keaton Jennings. This is Carter's last over as well. Gone for 36 so far. In comparison to Patel's 4 overs, 1 for 18, are fabulous figures. 24 off 15 is the equation. Villas muscling the ball down the ground. In Ball fields. Brings up the 150 for Lancashire Lightning. There it is, flashed up on the board. 106 balls for the 150, and just lost 2 wickets to fall. Jennings going for the sweep, again plenty of height. Who's coming up to get this from the leg side boundary? Well, the answer's nobody. Jennings has come back for a second. There's 2 on that leg side boundary. There's deep backward square leg and a deep mid wicket. Went high off the bat of Keaton Jennings. And that fell and landed onto the ground in front of, I think, Budinger coming up from the boundary. It was. Couldn't get across the ground to get there. Final ball of the over. This is cut by Keaton Jennings out towards deep point. Ben Duckett's there to field. 2 left. So 12 balls, 20 needed. 8 wickets to get and 153 for 2.
I clearly missed something of huge importance there from the penultimate ball of the over whilst I was on the stairs. Couldn't see the pitch and the crowd reaction. It was a groan and then it broke out into a big cheer.
Yeah, it was a sweep from Jennings that went high up and towards the square leg boundary, and Budinger just couldn't get up from the rope in time to take the catch. The ball fell safe. Hence the cheers from the Lancashire supporters.
I was just asked if, what sort of chance Notts had here, and I said there were perhaps 1 or 2 sides in the North Group that even from this situation might just give Notts a squeak of a chance, but against Lancashire first and foremost, against a side that are only 2 wickets down, and against a side that have got Keaton Jennings 73 not out, you really wouldn't expect them to be given a sniff here. 2 overs left.
Still 20 needed.
Double wicket made and be interesting.
It would.
There's ball from the Anderson end. Ball's down the leg side. That's hit to Matt Carter, and they're going to come back for 2, I think. In comes the throw, and again it just doesn't quite get there in time, and that was an awful bit of cricket all round. It was a leg side ball from Jake Ball. Keaton Jennings didn't get hold of it properly. Matt Carter didn't field it properly. The running was good because they took 2, but the throw just didn't have enough zip behind it, so the batsman could come back. So it was a little bit of an error-strewn incident. 18 from 11 makes you think that's still a tight game.
It is. I think Lancashire will want this to be a good over. They don't want to go down to the final over still needing something in the region of 10 to 12.
At New Road, Notts needed 12 from 10 and didn't... No, sorry, it was 10 from 12 and didn't do it. 10 from 12. Here's ball. Bowles. This one's heaved into the leg side to Ben Duckett. A, stop it. B, throw it in quickly, and he's done that. And it's 156 for 2, 17 from 10.
Yeah, these things can happen quickly, can't they? You think kind of 4 or 5 overs out, it looks a canter for Lancashire, but...
Yeah. Who's next? Rob Jones?
Probably Croft.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Probably Croft, I would think.
My 180 to 185. I know I said that par was 180, but I cheated a bit. 180 to 185, I think, was the bare minimum. Might have made it very different. They'd like to have had those runs now, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, without doubt. This still could be quite tight.
17 off 10. There's Jake Ball then. In and bowls. Dane Vilas has hit this up in the air. Now then, will this be taken? Harrison has gobbled that one up, and Dane Vilas goes.
Game on.
156 for 3.
Game on.
Good catch, young man.
It was. Yeah, it absolutely was. Great catch. Went high.
So Jake Ball has just arrested the Lancashire momentum a little bit. Scott is absolutely right. Stephen Croft on his way out to the middle. 156 for 3. And we are halfway through the 19th over. 9 balls remain, 17 required. Lancashire, what, 95%? Well, I don't know. Work it out yourself. Work it out yourself. Strong favourites to win from here. But Keaton Jennings is on strike. If Jennings hits this one straight up in the air, then we'll have a reappraisal. But
I think it's game on. I think it's game on.
We've seen this before, haven't we? You and I. Don't give Notts a prayer. You'll worry about Lancashire. Here's ball in, helped away for 4. Well, Samit Patel might put a dive in, can't get there.
Oh, he does.
Has he stopped it down below us?
He has.
Yes, Scott's looking at the live stream. I'm in danger of toppling out the window trying to see what happened down below us. They've run 3, so good running by the 2 in the middle, but also by Samit Patel.
Great
Absolutely effort. Giving it everything.
Look at this. Bang! Great
Good work, Sam. So, what's that, 14 from 8? Luke Fletcher to bowl the final over. You would imagine.
A boundary here for Lancashire. Oh, I hope Samit's okay. We're just looking at this now. He's
down on the ground.
He's feeling that knee again, isn't he?
He is, and that's not an injury, not a fresh injury from that bit of fielding because he was holding the left knee earlier, wasn't he? Haslingden's Samit Patel doing his bit for Nottinghamshire there. So the new man is Stephen Croft, and Stephen Mullaney, who has known Stephen Croft since they were both knee-high to a grasshopper, will know what sort of field to set, you'd imagine. There might be a word or two about which shots that Stephen Croft can't play and which he can play. Jake Ball's disappeared up the far end to have a bit of a natter to Alex Hales. 159 for 3, 8 balls left. Lancashire strong favourites. 14 required. Ball to Croft. His first ball is slammed to mid-off, and that could quite easily have gone under the skipper for runs. It just deviated a little bit. It hit a wormhole, didn't it, and deviated, but it keeps them to 1. And it's 13 from 7.
Well, anything other than the boundary, and this is in the balance, isn't it? 13 from 7. If it's in single figures going into the final over, you put Lancashire favourites. I think anything less than that, I think it's evenly balanced.
Lancashire still win this with 3 balls to spare. There you go. Here's ball in to Jennings. He's hit one off the back of the bat here and will keep strike, and 12 will be required from the final over. 161 for 3. Well done, Jake Ball.
Yeah.
Knots of taking it to the final over. 172 on the board for them, and to take it into the final over, they've I think, after seeing the openers put 118 on, probably done as well as they could have done from that stage onwards. They didn't get the first wicket until the last ball of the 13th over. Listen to the crowd. Just listen to the crowd. That's going to lift knots as well, of course. Keaton Jennings on 80. Not enough runs left. However, he manages it to reach 3 figures here, but as long as his side get the 2 points, he's going to have been the man that's predominantly got them there.
Don't rule out the tie.
Don't rule out the tie.
Tie's a tie, of course. Point to Pete's. No super overs or anything like that.
I'll take that, Scott. I'll take that.
Yep.
I'll take that.
Big Fletcher's going to bowl it then.
And what's his figures? He's only had 1 over, Fletch. 1 over and went for 10.
Oof.
Got some tap the other night. Bowled a fairly decent final over.
Well, that would do, wouldn't it? For 10. In and bowling. This is Jennings trying to work it into the onside. Got through for a leg by, so just a 1 off it.
That protects his figures, but it's not about him, of course. It's a team thing. Is that 11 off 5? I've written 9 off 5 here.
11 off 5.
11 off 5. 10 to tie. 11 to win. Lanky. Giraffe at the far end is instrumental in all this. Yep. Crowd chanting.
Well, that leg side boundary is a fair old hit, isn't it? And they've gathered it with 3 fielders, probably 10 yards in. Deep square, deep mid-wicket, long on.
Got to put it in the block hole, Fletch. This will be dropped on the leg side and they'll take 2. Here is Fletcher.
To Croft, it is full. Drives it down the ground. He's scampered through for 1. They think about a second. Oh. Great pick up and throw by Ball. Just the 1. 10 required off 4 balls. 163 for 3.
That was superb from both Jake Ball, who picked it up on the run and released it, and from Fletcher, one-handed, to take it at the side of the stumps.
Great work.
Because there was nobody close enough to back up. If it had just not been gathered as cleanly as it was by Fletcher, they would have come back.
Don't concede a boundary here, Luke Fletcher, and not so well on course. 4 balls left, 10 required. Jennings on strike on 80. He's flicked it down towards fine leg from a full toss. He'll turn to come back for a second, but again there's only 1. Excellent work this time from Samit Patel with the pick up and throw. 3 balls left, 9 needed. 164 for 3.
Never thought it would get this close. Never ever thought it would get this close. 118 the openers put on. Finn Allen made 60. Alex Davis out for 0. Dane Vilas then came and gave it a go. But throughout it all, Keaton Jennings has been there. He's on 81 not out. He's got his spikes on. He's in the blocks, ready to set off to run here. Here's Fletcher in, bowls, hit down the ground. This will be 1 bounce to Hales. Clean take by Hales. Good release, and the ball comes in, and it's backed up by Moores, and there's only a single. And Lancashire need 8 off 2 to win, 7 off 2 to tie.
Wow, it's a terrific game of T20 cricket, isn't it?
Are we right there, Scott? Because never rely on my maths.
8 off 2, spot on. 7 to tie.
First and foremost, Fletch, no overstepping and no leg side, well, in fact, no wide either side. Again, if you can get it in the block hole. He's going to be bowling to Keaton Jennings, his old nemesis. Remember the Riverside, 2017, Luke. What he did to you, he broke your heart then. Fletcher to Keaton Jennings, slammed out of the ground for 6, or is it? It's gone for 6, yep, there it goes. For a second it just wavered, had a little look, picked up a firm or two and just dropped over the head of Calvin Harrison at deep mid-wicket. It fell between the rope and the boards, and there's only about 4 feet of grass there for it to fall in. It was so close to being within grabbing distance of Harrison. Make some noise, says the board. I don't think that's really necessary. 171 for 3.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere. It's a terrific shot from Keaton Jennings. It's a wonderful 87 not out for him. But Lancashire Lightning need 2 more to win the game. 1 more run will tie it. Dot ball for the Outlaws, wins it for them. Brilliant game of T20 cricket.
Last ball then, dot or wicket, obviously. Notts win, as Scott says. 1, it's a tie, 1 point each. 2 or more, and this noise will intensify tenfold. Here we go, Fletcher to Keaton Jennings. He's in, he bowls, hit into the offside. Stephen Mullaney will field, picks it up, throws it in. 1 bounce to Tom Moores. The bails are off. We have got another tie. Not second tie of the campaign. And it's quite extraordinary how Notts have got anything out of that. But first and foremost, well-battered Keaton Jennings. A real shame for him. He's been run out for 88, coming back for a non-existent second. An extraordinary finish to an extraordinary game of cricket. I tell you what, if it had started raining when I left Newark this morning and had chucked it down till now, Notts would still have got 1 point, and somehow that's what they've ended up with. Lancashire can feel a little aggrieved. Luke Fletcher, he doesn't know whether to be happy or disappointed that that 5th ball went for 6. But Notts have got a point out of this. The crowd, let's think about them. They've been starved of cricket by and large, as they have up and down the country for 18 months. They've come out, they've had a good afternoon in the Lancashire sunshine. They've seen a thriller of a match, and their side hasn't lost at the end of the day. It's a draw, Scott, and we do it again at Trent Bridge on Saturday.
We do. Let's hope it's as good as this.
Sorry, it's not. I hate it when people say it's not a draw, it's a tie.
It's a tie. It's a tie. Take a point and move on. Keaton Jennings on 87. Run out for 88 in the end, wasn't he? I think is what he finished on. And Croft on 3. But it's a great game of T20 cricket. The players just kind of fist pumping as they make their way down the line. And it's a point apiece, but a wonderful game of T20 cricket. And that 6, that big hit for 6 from Keaton Jennings, I think Lancashire Lightning felt the wind was on, but then in the end just managing to squeeze out 1 run.
I'll come back and see you in just a moment or two, but thanks for your company again this afternoon and Lancashire's hospitality. I'll just go and update the listeners on BBC Radio Nottingham, but thanks for me.
No worries at all. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, players finishing their a chance to kind of congratulate each other and say well played. It was an excellent game of T20 cricket. Wonderful for the spectators as well to see a game so close. In the end, I suppose, a little bit of deathly silence around the ground when they couldn't come back for that second. But they've had good value, plenty of runs, some good catches, plenty of wickets, and lots of entertainment. The Vitality T20 Blast, always good fun to watch, even with limited crowds inside the ground. They have to enjoy a little Sunday scoop and bring out the family as well. So Lancashire Lightning and the Notts Outlaws tie the game here at Emirates Old Trafford. And there's a break for Lancashire. Don't play again until Friday at Northants. And that's followed by a trip to Trent Bridge on the Saturday at in the early afternoon. Plenty of smiles on the Lancashire balcony. Saqib Mahmood there, we're hoping to see him back fit and playing soon. Maybe a sense ultimately of disappointment for Lancashire Lightning that they couldn't get over the line. But I guess Notts going into that final over just about in front, with Lancashire needing so many runs off it until Jennings hit that 6. So it is a point apiece here at Emirates Old Trafford. Lancashire Lightning and the Notts Outlaws. Nothing could separate them in terms of the group table before the game, and nothing separates them after the game. They're still level on the same number of points. It is 8 points each for Notts and for Lancashire from the group stage so far. So the game ends in a tie. It's always good fun. It's a point apiece for Lancashire Lightning and the Notts Outlaws.
Well, many thanks to Scott Reed and the team for guiding us through the action. We thought it might be thrilling. I'm not sure we were quite prepared for what a finale we were treated to. Lancashire just falling 1 run short of victory, chasing 172 for 4 after their 20 overs. Former Lancashire wicketkeeper Warren Hegg with us. We said at the midway point, Warren, we were in for a tight finish, and that is exactly what we got.
Absolutely, yeah. A good run chase. I think at the end of the day, the head coach will be a little bit disappointed we didn't get over the line. You know, there's not many games that you don't get over the line by 100 partnership. That opening pair, Finn Allen, Keaton Jennings, got the team off to a great start. Just unfortunately, just couldn't quite finish it off.
Yeah, 118 for none. At that point, it looked not pedestrian. It never is. Never is. The chase was just ahead of par, but we would have been feeling pretty confident at that point.
You look at that stage you just mentioned, that we still needed 8, 9 and over on a wicket that was getting a little bit slower. The ball's getting a little bit older. A really good bowling attack, let's not forget, from the Nottinghamshire Outlaws. So it's always going to be a real struggle to get through there. But unfortunately, we lost Alex Davies, who's a dynamic, strong batsman, and a good little knock from captain Dane Villas. It just goes to show you, Keaton Jennings batted all the way. He went on with the innings, and we nearly got there.
Yeah, quick word for Keaton Jennings. His first T20 appearance of the season, 88 not out. The man of the match, I don't think there's much doubt about that. Very nearly the match winner.
Yeah, played great, didn't he, Keaton? We know he's got the pedigree, Steve. We know he's got that quality, that experience, and that know-how how to win a game. He managed his run chase nearly to perfection. We just didn't get over the line. I think with 2 balls to go, didn't we? We needed 8. Would you have taken a tie? I think you would have done.
Yeah, 6 off the penultimate ball. Could have gone either way, couldn't it? Credit where due, though, to Nottinghamshire, who are the reigning champions. We know they are a wonderfully composed team in this form of cricket, and they demonstrated it to reel the game back in from the point where it looked like they were heading for defeat.
They could have gone one of either way, couldn't they? They could have actually tossed it off, or they said, no, we're still in this game. They still need 8, they still need 9 and over. We're still in it. It would take a couple of wickets, which they did. They got back. Jake Ball at the end, he's in international pedigree, he's got the experience, dragged it back in. Keaton Jennings, 6 off the penultimate ball. Boundary, we needed boundary. I thought we'd get it. Sadly, we didn't.
Yeah, not too long until we get a chance to have another go at them at Trent Bridge at the start of next month. But have you seen enough from Lancashire to feel as though they're walking the right path in terms of progressing to the quarter-finals of the Vitality Blast?
Definitely. It's all about peaking at the right time in 2020. We've seen it every year, haven't we? You know, let's look at what we've got in the tank. We've got players in reserve, Steve, that can really step up to the plate. We've seen that with Keaton Jennings. Who'd have thought Keaton Jennings, you know, a couple of weeks ago with that top 4 we had, would come out and be a pivotal part of getting a tie here tonight. So strength in depth is something that you need in 2020 cricket, and I think Lancs have got that in abundance.
Still unbeaten at Emirates Old Trafford in the Vitality Blast this season. If the form can pick up away from home, that could be the crucial difference.
Yeah, our away form has got to improve a little bit more now. We've got a couple of games coming up in the next week or so, and I think head coach Glenn Chaffel will be looking to to overcome those sides. You know, get that little bit of a monkey off the back really, and try and get a couple of away wins.
Great to have your company today, Warren. Thank you so much for your expert insights. So near, but so far in terms of a Vitality Blast victory for the Lancashire Lightning today. Let's take a look back at how close they came to taking both points.